Welcome back from the tower. We're just 5 minutes away from the start of racing for this afternoon's programme. 13 races coming up, 2 finals to kick us off, followed by 4 semi-finals, another 6 finals, and then into the new race, the test race for the mixed eight to round off day 2 at World Cup Varese.
Buongiorno, ben ritrovati. 5 minuti alla partenza del programma pomeridiano. Iniziamo con 2 finali del settore paralimpico, poi 4 semifinali e ancora 6 finali sempre per il settore paralimpico e per quello leggero. E a concludere il programma, per la prima volta nella storia del canottaggio, il test race del lotto misto.
The final of the PR2 Women's Single Sculls.
Finale del singolo femminile categoria PR2.
In lane 1, Germany, Thaisa Kiewicz.
In corsia 1, Germania.
We are underway for our afternoon schedule here for day 2 at World Cup Varese. Our first race of the day of the afternoon session is the final of the PR2 women's single sculls. Now, unfortunately, for medical reasons, the Mexican sculler Angeles Brittany Gutierrez Vieira has had to withdraw, and we hope and wish a speedy recovery for Angeles Brittany. So it means it's a one-boat race here for Germany, racing down for the gold medal. In the heat, it was a time of 10:07.5, so we'll see if Thrice is going to really go for it here on her international debut and race against the clock. Never an easy thing to do, but she's out there racing for Germany. There'll be a lot of pride for her knowing there is a gold medal on offer here in the final of the PR2 women's single sculls, and she's taken it off at a rate of 31, settling in already into the first 250 metres. So difficult conditions here to race against yourself out of the water there, but we're all willing her on as she makes her way down to the first few hundred metres.
Siamo partiti con la prima finale di questo programma pomeridiano alla Coppa del Mondo di Varese. Il singolo femminile vedeva iscritte 2 atlete. Sfortunatamente l'atleta messicana per condizioni mediche non ottimali si è ritirata, e quindi l'atleta della Germania in acqua 1 è partita da sola e quindi dovrà disputare questo percorso senza un riferimento dell'avversaria, quindi dovrà contare sulle sue sensazioni, sulle sue percezioni per cercare di ottenere il meglio, per avere dei feedback di crescita in vista di questa stagione remiera.
So Theresa Kiewicz waking her way down to the first 500 metres, and it'll be interesting to see if she will race against that time of 10:07.5 that she clocked up in the preliminary race yesterday. And we mentioned, Tim, you gave us some information on her making her international debut here at the regatta today, and great to see that she's out there for Germany, leading the way. And hopefully we'll see a lot from her over the regatta and the future regattas during this season as well, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Richie. And indeed, you mentioned it already, and I would just want to refocus on that point you made earlier, that this is such a difficult race for her. I mean, it's always great if you can race against somebody else, but Theresa Kiewicz from Germany is basically in a race against herself and the clock. And she is trying to put out a great performance here out on the water. Her second international appearance, you were perfectly correct. She made her international debut at the tender age of 28 in this boat class for the PR2 women's single sculls, having trained in this boat class and really working towards this as a goal. And she's really making the most of it at the moment. You mentioned her time. We'll keep a close eye on that. At the moment, when she, or at least when she passed 500 meters, she was more or less on the same race pace as she was in the preliminary race yesterday, clocking a 2 minutes 30 seconds. So if you, do that 4 times in a row, you are about the 10-minute mark. And looking at the way she's racing, yesterday we saw her really consistent at 29, perhaps 30 strokes a minute. At the moment, she's slightly lower. It's 28 strokes a minute, so perhaps the racing conditions slightly different here on Lago di Varese this afternoon. Of course, it's very hot. We already mentioned it. The humidity is quite high, but also there's a bit more of a tail breeze, which should make it faster, but depending on how you gear your oars, the rate of striking may be slightly lower. But she's getting great boat speed, looking very consistent now, just past 750 meters gone, looking great at the moment.
Tra noi atleti, forse tra tutti quelli del mestiere, del mondo del canottaggio, pensiamo che la semifinale sia, se non la gara più difficile, tra le gare più difficili, perché comunque si è o dentro o fuori, o ci si gioca il posto per una medaglia o bisogna solo combattere nella finale B. Però devo ammettere, questa gara, la gara contro se stessi, una gara contro il tempo può essere davvero considerata una gara molto difficile. Perché? Perché si è contro se stessi, come fondamentalmente ad allenamento, che si cerca sempre di migliorare un gesto tecnico, migliorare la potenza, migliorare la forza, e si è fondamentalmente davanti ad uno schermo, in questo caso davanti alla propria scia lasciata dal singolo. L'atleta in questione, la ragazza che stiamo vedendo remare adesso, è l'atleta tedesca Tirza Kivek, che ha fatto il suo debutto nel campo di gara internazionale ieri, proprio in questa specialità che è il singolo femminile PR2. E il PR2 è una delle classi del canottaggio, del para-rowing, che è appunto utilizzata nelle competizioni paraolimpiche, per tutti gli atleti che possono utilizzare il tronco, le braccia, le spalle per dare propulsione, velocità, movimento alla barca, però non possono utilizzare il sedile. Solitamente appunto il nostro sedile scorre perché si cerca di utilizzare e si deve utilizzare la spinta delle gambe, però in questo caso appunto in questa categoria devono sfruttare solo la parte superiore del corpo, e questo richiede grande resistenza, grande prova, anche perché è una gara molto lunga, molto impegnativa, che può durare anche ben più di 10 minuti e infatti ieri la ragazza, questa atleta tedesca ha segnato 10,07. Ricordiamo che il record di questa specialità è stato segnato dall'atleta irlandese Katie O'Brien con 9,14,65, quindi può essere sicuramente di stimolo per provare a raggiungere questo obiettivo di tempistiche. Sta svolgendo molto bene la sua gara, sta rimanendo costante e cercando di acquisire sempre più velocità, guadagnando colpo per colpo.
It's a really impressive style from Tirza Kivik from the Offenbacher Rudergesellschaft Undine. I'm sure the members of that German rowing club are tuning in to the live stream to watch their club athlete race here on international waters, and it's a fantastic race from her so far. She's been really consistent all the way, passing us at 1,000. She was a little above that time she set in the heat yesterday, but she's looking great, and I do love her style. She really puts the blades in at the front end of the stroke really effectively. There's no drama, it's just very controlled movement on her part, and then she levers the boat so very effectively past the oars, and it's a great showing from her at the moment. And yeah, well, looking at the time, it's so consistent. It's in terms of speed, in terms of rate, there's nothing to fault that performance, and I'm sure that her coach Mark Stahlberg is really proud. And it is, as we mentioned, difficult to race all by yourself. She had a little warm-up this morning, a 4K road, just to get the body adapted to the lake once more. And following that warm-up, she's putting it all out here and laying down a great performance with just over 400 meters to go. I think she's coming into view of you, Richie, at the finish tower. So I'll leave it to you to call it across the line.
Thank you, Tim. What a great view we have here. Centre of the course for Tirza Kivik of Germany to kick off this afternoon, and a medal heading her way once she gets safely through this course here down to the last few hundred metres. Never easy rowing on your own, but I'm sure the crowd on the grandstand and Luca are going to whip up some support to cheer her home, and we can see the consistency that she had in the first three quarters. She might push for the line here and see if she can better that time of 10:07.5. And of course, we wish a speedy recovery for Angeles Brittany Gutierrez Vieira of Mexico, who unfortunately had to withdraw for medical reasons, but still great to see Tirza Kivik here on her debut for Germany, pushing all the way to the line and looking good so far. Centre of the course, just about to hear the crowds cheering her home.
Continua l'azione di Tirza Kivik, l'atleta tedesca che si è trovata a partire da sola in questa finale del singolo PR2. Sta utilizzando ovviamente l'occasione per cercare di incamerare informazioni, feedback da utilizzare, visto che la sua esperienza non è così enorme per quanto riguarda l'esperienza internazionale. Si è stabilizzata su uno steady state di 28-29 colpi, quindi non ha necessità di fare variazioni di velocità, ma cerca di sfruttare al meglio questo momento sul lago di Varese in condizioni ottimali, una leggera brezza a favore che sicuramente favorisce anche l'arrivo sul traguardo. e sta approfittando per portare a casa un bel allenamento, registrare delle sensazioni importanti che le serviranno sicuramente da qui in avanti per migliorare quella che sarà la sua performance.
So finish line in sight for the German sculler. She's down to her last few strokes, and as Tim was saying, really efficient rower, very clean with her blade work as well, and she's powering onto the line here, just her last few strokes to close out our first final and our first medalist of Varese 2025. It is the PR2 women's singles sculls, goes to Germany. The final of the PR2 men's singles scull.
Finale del singolo maschile PR2.
Lane 1, Great Britain, Curtis Dickens. Lane 2, Czechia, Joseph Dukin. Lane 3, Uzbekistan, Djurabek Boybosilnov. In lane 4, Ireland, Tiernan O'Donnell. In lane 5, Turkey, Igor Dugokan Bozkurt. And lane 6, Ukraine, Artem Vikilev.
Corsia numero 1, Gran Bretagna. Corsia numero 2, Repubblica Ceca. Corsia numero 3, Uzbekistan. Corsia numero 4, Irlanda. Corsia numero 5, Turchia. Corsia numero 6, Ucraina.
And we are underway with our second final of this afternoon's programme. It is the final of the PR2 men's single sculls. These crews already raced in the preliminary race yesterday, where we saw Tiernan O'Donnell of Ireland lead it out ahead of the Uzbekistani sculler in second place. And Turkey, they were the 1, 2 and 3 with Czechia, Ukraine and Great Britain 4th, 5th and 6th. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And off to a blistering start already is the winner of the preliminary race, Tiernan O'Donnell. He goes off at a rate of 45 strokes per minute and opening up a lead in the first 100 metres. Next to him in lane 5, Turkey is just in second place at the moment, as is the Great British sculler Curtis Dickens, staying in touch. They're the 1, 2 and 3, and the Uzbekistani sculler very much in the mix as well as they leave the first 100 metres. Just a little bit further back then to the crew from Czechia and from Ukraine as well, back in 5th and 6th position as they settle into their race pace now. O'Donnell from Ireland continues to move away from the field, just opening up about a 10-15 metre lead now. It's opened up ahead of the Ukrainian sculler in second place as they approach the first 250.
È partita la finale del singolo maschile PR2. Il più veloce a scattare dai blocchi è stato l'atleta ucraino, ma subito dopo O'Donnell, l'atleta irlandese, ha cercato di mettere la sua prua davanti. Adesso sta cercando di condurre questa finale con una lunghezza di vantaggio. O'Donnell, che fu ottavo a Parigi nel doppio misto PR2, quindi continua a insistere nella sua azione. 37 i colpi fino a questo momento, un po' più basso il ritmo dell'atleta ucraino, che cerca di mantenere incollato alla propria prua alla barca dell'atleta irlandese.
So looking good for Ireland so far, coming up to the first few 100 metres. He took 15 seconds off his PB in the race yesterday, so he's obviously going well, accompanied here with Keelan Mannix of Rowing Ireland, helping him out and coaching him as part of the high-performance effort for the Irish sculler. Made his debut last year, winning 2 silver medals at the World Cup Regattas, and now looking to make that advance from silver onto bronze. Staying with them, the 2 young scullers who came second and third, the 18-year-olds, Turkey and Uzbekistan, very much in the mix as well, as indeed is the Ukrainian sculler. Gone through 500, we're going to head up the course and check in with Tim.
Thanks, Richie, and you must be pleased as punch to see Tiernan O'Donnell doing so well in the opening quarter of this race, really going out there to dominate this race, and indeed he is doing so quite impressively. We're in the thick of the action in the second 500, and the Lee Rowing Club athlete from Ireland is looking so strong out there on the water. 35 strokes a minute from the Irishman, and by a long margin the quickest boat out on the water at this stage. He'll be looking to improve his personal best perhaps, but in the end all that matters is the gold medal that awaits at the end of this race, and so far so good for the Irishman. He has a decent lead ahead of Turkey and Ukraine, who are currently occupying the silver and bronze medal positions. Behind them then there's a bit of a gap to Boy Bolsinov from Uzbekistan, who is currently 4th at the moment, and he is just slightly ahead of Curtis Dickens from Great Britain, an amazing athlete who was connected to rowing just last year in July 2024. His physiotherapist so impressed with his progress that he connected him to the rowing team from Great Britain, and in November he was added to this team, and at 36 years of age he made his debut on international waters here in Varese yesterday. So great to see him racing here as well. Last of the bunch, but certainly not out of it at this stage, is Czechia, Josef Dukan. He is racing all out, but he is a couple of lengths down on that flying Irishman, who crosses into the second half of the race as we speak. Decent time, 4 minutes 12, and then there's a bit of a gap back to I think that is Bozkurt from Turkey, who is currently occupying that silver medal position ahead of Vikliaev from Ukraine in bronze.
Singolo maschile PR2, questi li abbiamo visti gareggiare ieri nella preliminary race, ma questa è la finale A. Qui si sta giocando le medaglie ed è impressionante vedere come sta dominando la gara l'irlandese Tiernan O'Donnell, che ha fatto il suo debutto internazionale nel mondo del canottaggio negli ultimi 2 anni e tra l'altro ricordiamo che è arrivato terzo in finale B alle ultime Paralimpiadi di Parigi. Però nel doppio misto PR2, quindi fantastico vedere come si sta cercando di migliorare sempre di più la sua prestazione. Attualmente si trova a 34 colpi al minuto, è passato davanti ai 1000 metri da un'azione molto controllata, cerca di prendere maggiore acqua possibile per cercare appunto sempre quella propulsione necessaria per muovere la barca. In seconda posizione quindi combattendo per l'argento è l'atleta della Turchia Dokukan Bozkurt, che è un po' più avanti rispetto alla posizione dell'Uzbeka Boybolsinov, che sta portando avanti la sua gara con un numero di colpi decisamente maggiore, 38, e così sta facendo anche l'atleta della Repubblica Ceca, che sta mantenendo un'azione rapidissima con 41 colpi al minuto. Anche qui ci vuole molta reattività muscolare, di conseguenza anche resistenza. Sta continuando ad aumentare i colpi, probabilmente per cercare di guadagnare più spazio possibile. In quarta posizione troviamo per adesso l'ucraino, seguito poi dalla Gran Bretagna e appunto a chiudere la Repubblica Ceca.
Just into the final 500 meters for Tiernan O'Donnell from Ireland. It's looking great for him so far. 20 meters ahead of the athlete from Turkey, Bozkurt, who is just 18 years old, but competed at the Paralympic Games in Paris in the mixed double. So an experienced athlete in his own right. The athlete from Turkey still in silver medal position, but everybody listening to Alessandra just a few moments ago will have noticed that Bolsinov from Uzbekistan has moved into bronze medal position, with the sculler from Ukraine dropping out of the podium places in that third 500, but still in fourth overall. Then Curtis Dickens from Great Britain, fifth, and sixth is still Czechia. Moving into the final couple hundred meters, Richie, you must be a very proud Irishman at the moment.
Absolutely, this is a view I like to see. Centre of the course, Tiernan O'Donnell from Ireland leading out the final of the PR2 men's single sculls. He's dominated off the start, taking an early lead and continued to move away, but really good to see Bozkurt from Turkey staying in touch and doing his best to get back into contention, holding on to silver medal possession at the moment ahead of the Uzbeki sculler. They're in the run into the finish now, and I know David Breen, he's coach from last year, Tiernan O'Donnell's coach from last year, now coaching as part of the GB setup, will be proud as punch, pacing up and down the field, as I know David Breen will be, cheered on by Keelan Mannix as well, but looking good for Ireland for their first medal, and it'll be a 100% record for Ireland at this regatta, as he's the sole competitor representing the country. On his run into the finish now, gold looking for O'Donnell of Ireland, Turkey in second and Uzbekistan in third at the moment.
100 metri al traguardo si sono praticamente consolidate le posizioni, con l'Irlanda che continua a fare l'andatura lì davanti, non permette a nessuno degli avversari di rientrare in seconda posizione. Adesso c'è una bella lotta tra Turchia e Uzbekistan che sta rientrando dalla retrovie, ha creato un'accelerazione importante, sta cercando di mettere la sua prua davanti per il secondo posto, per la medaglia d'argento, quindi Uzbekistan secondo e Turchia terzo, con davanti a tagliare in prima posizione, confermiamo, O'Donnell per l'Irlanda.
It's gold for Ireland. Tiernan O'Donnell takes the win in the PR2 men's single scull, dominating the race there with clear water. And it was the Uzbekistani sculler who came in second, Boybosinov, just getting the better of the Turkey sculler. So goes the way of the preliminary race that we had yesterday. The 1, 2 and 3 stays the same. Tiernan O'Donnell takes his first gold medal on the international circuit, ahead of the silver medalist Uzbekistan, and third and bronze to Turkey. Just checking in on fourth, fifth and sixth as they approach the run-in towards the finish, and the last few strokes for those rowers was the Ukrainian sculler Vikilev crossing the line in fourth place, ahead of Great Britain, Curtis Dickens in fifth, and Joseph Dukin of Czechia in sixth. So celebrating the Irish win, we're going to head down to Luca. Luca, you've some Irish people there celebrating with you.
Yeah, we were celebrating. We've been watching the race together. They've been crying across the line. Your son just won gold. What does it mean for you?
Oh, this is incredible. He's only been 2 years, 2.5 years rowing. He went to the Paralympics having won 2 silvers in the World Cup in Lucerne and the World Cup in Poland last year. So he was coming back, and after the Paralympics, his ambition was gold today, and he has achieved that. We are so happy! Woohoo!
What does it mean for a family, a gold medal?
It's brilliant for the family. You know, he's been training very hard for this, and we're very, very proud of him. Very, very proud of him.
Yeah, we're all here. Everyone's here. The whole family, all his brothers are here. My sister's here. Our friends are here. Everyone is here to join us and celebrate with us. Friends from Italy here as well. So it's just amazing. And thank you, Italy, and thank you, Varese, for an amazing time here. It's superb. And best of luck to all the other athletes.
Thank you very much. But stay with us because we are going to celebrate together during the victory ceremony.
The victory ceremony for the PR2 women's singles sculls. The medal will be presented by World Rowing Council member Henk-Jan Zwoll, accompanied by Regional President of the Italian Paralympic Committee, Pierangelo Santelli. Winner of the gold medal, Germany. Kaiser Kerwick. Varese, give it up for your gold medalist, Germany.
Pronto? Inizia a inquadrare lei. Can we go? Can I go?
Yeah. Can we do an interview with you? Yeah.
Can I? Can we go? Can we go?
Yeah.
Can I start? The first gold medalist from Varese. Welcome, Varese is here. Well done to you. How was the course?
Yeah, it was hot, but it felt good. So it's nice to win my first gold medal in rowing.
Well, you'll remember Varese for the rest of your life. Overall, you were paddling down, you were pushing really hard. Which was the hard part of the race? Can you tell us?
To be honest, to be on my own. It was just a mental game of me trying to be fast without an opponent today, but luckily I had an opponent yesterday, what makes me feel comfortable that I can wear the gold medal with like proudness.
You had a lot of support here celebrating you. So you're happy to have the supporters around you?
Yes, especially because I just started rowing and I normally play volleyball, and this is a whole different level. So it's really good to have the support from people who know what they do. So yeah.
What do you like the most about rowing?
I think it's just me and the time, and it's a race against yourself, and I think that's what's triggering me the most to like get everything out of myself. Yeah.
Hey, congratulations once again. Step forward, let's show us your magic gold medal here in Varese. Well done, well done.
The victory ceremony for the PR2 men's single sculls. The medal will be presented by World Rowing Council member Angela Alonso Fernandez, accompanied by Pier Angelo Santelli, Regional President of the Italian Paralympic Committee. Winner of the bronze medal, representing Turkey, Igor Dugukan Bozkurt. Winner of the silver medal representing Uzbekistan, Diorbek Boybazanov. Winner of the gold medal, representing Ireland, Tiernan O'Donnell. Varese, give it up for your bronze medalist, Turkey. Your silver medalist, Uzbekistan. And your gold medalist, Ireland!
Can we do a quick interview together? Can we do a quick interview? Yeah, good. Great, we stay here. Come. Go. Great job. Thank you. And now another gold medalist here with us from wheelchair basketball into rowing. How was the transition?
Yeah, rowing's a much different sport. I think a little bit harder, and finally I got a gold.
This gold was a big celebration for your family. Your mom and dad are here. What does it mean to you having your family here supporting you?
Yeah, it's everything. It's why I do this. Whether I get a bronze, silver, or no medal at all, I do it for my family so they can share this with me. So it's really special.
So now, of course, I want to know, were you able to hear them shouting to you and supporting you during the race?
Yeah, you usually only hear them for the last 500 meters, but because they're Irish, you hear them from 1,000 meters away. So,
so well done, of course, to the crowd. Last question to you. Of course, Shanghai is around the corner. What's your goal there?
yeah, a final is always the goal, and if we're fast enough, hopefully a medal.
Hey, good luck to you. Thank you very much for joining us. From the action to the interview in, interview out, but now is the fan zone, waiting for the next race. We are about to do a walk around the fan zone. A lot of fans are here, you keep following me. Of course, we got other merch store, but also a lot of supporters that are sitting around their tables over there, getting ready, keeping hydrated. Actually, we can run a little bit. Oh, well, have you ever seen a horse at a rowing event? That's what they're doing. I think it's the Polizia, the Italian police force around the fan zone with their horses. So if you want to maybe take a photo and capture that moment, don't miss that out. Then, of course, the fan zone here, a lot of supporters getting ready. Well, we got somebody from Norway. So are you ready to watch a race?
Yeah, of course. Happy for some racing soon.
You enjoying Varese?
Yes, it's very nice, great rowing conditions and great weather.
Well, maybe too hot?
Yeah, for us Norwegians, it's really hot.
Stay with us, stay with us. So, from Norway to New Zealand, we can see Brazil over there. Oh, what's going on here? A party play? Like, what are you playing? What are you playing here?
We're planning our dinner tonight up in the town in Varese. Last night we had a lovely dinner together, and tonight we're going to the other restaurant you recommended, and it is called...
What's called? Oh, wow. Okay, okay. Well, oh, wow. Okay, enjoy your night. Enjoy your restaurant, of course. Let's keep walking around here. We got a lot of fun. We got a lot of volunteers. You can also discover Varese. Well, I can read that out in English. Doesn't really make sense. Do you like? That's the question. Well, I think a lot of fun over here. On the other side, we got a lot of different people, spectators, walking around, but of course some Italians as well. Come andiamo? Siamo pronti per fare il tifo?
Alla grande, sempre pronti.
I love the fact that your hand was really cold. I'm boiling here. Well, can you say hi to a dog as well? So that's it from the fun zone. We'll have a lot of fun together. That's the vibes, that's the atmosphere that we can build up together. This is the World Cup Varese, one of those events that we want you to remember for a long time. So please stay with us, stay tuned, keep following us, keep posting your photos. Don't forget to tag World Drawing everywhere using the right hashtag, and keep staying connected. We wait for you down by the lake to watch these 2 magic days that we've got ahead. Well, reality is 1.5, but the finals will start shortly.
So after the excitement of those two finals that kicked off our afternoon schedule, now settling back into two semi-finals. The semi-finals of the women's single sculls and the men's single sculls are the next 4 races coming up shortly.
Siamo pronti per iniziare con le 4 semifinali previste per il programma di oggi, singolo femminile e poi singolo maschile. Primi 3 posti per ognuna di queste 4 gare garantiranno l'accesso alla finale di domani, dove si giocheranno le gare per le medaglie.
Semi-final 1 of the women's single sculls.
Prima semifinale per il singolo femminile.
Lane 1, Switzerland, Olivia Knott. Lane 2, United States of America, Margaret Fellows. Lane 3, Belgium, Mazarin Gilbert. Lane 4, Great Britain, Lauren Henry. Lane 5, People's Republic of China 1, Li Rihu. Lane 6, People's Republic of China 2, Li Hian.
Acqua 1 Svizzera, Acqua 2 Stati Uniti, Acqua 3 Belgio, Acqua 4 Gran Bretagna, Acqua 5 Cina equipaggio 1, Acqua 6 Cina equipaggio 2.
And we are away for the first semi-final of the women's single sculls through the first few strokes. Just a reminder, in lane 1 we have Switzerland, in lane 2 USA, lane 3 Belgium, lane 4 Great Britain, and in lane 5 China 1, lane 6 is China 2. So all the crews off to a clean start there, up at 44 strokes per minute for the Chinese sculler Li Rihu. In lane 5, very high rating, the other scullers all at 40 as well, and into their race paces. Just looking at the 3 boats there, centre of the course, lanes 3, 4 and 5, it's Belgium, Great Britain and China 1 at the moment, leading it out, with the other Chinese scullers still in the mix as well. Nearest to us, you can see, in lane 6. So they're settling into their race pace now, coming up to the first few hundred metres, and we're looking for the first 3 crews who'll advance on to the A final, and then the second 3 crews going into the B final. Already raced the heats yesterday, and it was Lauren Henry, centre of the course, along with Marizanne Gilbert, posting those 2 fastest times in lane 3 and 4, and I think that's where the action is going to be led from.
Partite molto forti le atlete in questa prima semifinale del singolo femminile. La Cina, equipaggio 1, ha cercato di scattare velocissima, ma l'atleta inglese Laureen Henry forte del titolo continentale vinto giusto 2 settimane fa con un crono fantastico, non ha lasciato spazio e si è messa subito lì davanti, sta conducendo, anche se comunque le avversarie stanno cercando di mantenere il contatto. Adesso le atlete stanno uscendo dalle fasi di partenza, quindi sarà importante il raccordo con la parte del passo per cercare di mantenere la massima velocità raggiunta nella fase iniziale e trovare il modo per essere più economiche possibile.
So they're settling into their race paces now, and no surprise to see the leader there, Lauren Henry of Great Britain, our current European champion, is now gone through the 500-metre mark. And Tim, a little bit of surprise here to see the Chinese sculler with an overlap as they go through the first 500.
Yeah, I am amazed by that, Richie, or at least as surprised as you are to see those two Chinese athletes, Liu and Li, right up beside them. Possibly a bit of selection for the World Championships being fought out between the two Chinese scullers, but we'll wait and see how the athletes continue, because I think the class act in this semi-final is, of course, Lauren Henry from Great Britain. She's looked so strong yesterday. Her heat, she was, I think, by the quickest boat in her heat by 9 seconds, with Mazarine Gilbert from Belgium, from Ghent, second in that heat, 9 seconds down on the Olympic champion in the quad, Lauren Henry there. So, but yeah, settling in now for that mid-race pace. Lauren Henry opening up a clear water margin over the rest of the field, and now we see the rest of the crews developing in that second 500. Difficult to see at the moment. I'd say the Belgium athletes still in a third position, because Liu in lane number 5 from the People's Republic of China still clinging on for that second place overall. On the far side, a quick shout out to the two athletes there racing hard. We see Zeeklub Luzern's athlete Olivia Nacht from Switzerland trying to keep in contact, because the very rapid American athlete right beside her, Margaret Fallows, is giving chase and is drawing level with the Belgium athlete in lane number 3. But you can see on the picture there, just across 1,000 meters gone, Lauren Henry, a clear water gap. I think 2-3 perhaps. 3.5 lengths of clear water back to Liu from the People's Republic of China, currently sitting second, and Gilbert from Belgium just about clinging on for that last qualifying position to the A final.
Ed è la britannica Lauren Henry, campionessa nel singolo al scorso campionato europeo e campionessa olimpica a Parigi nel 4 di coppia. Sta battendo la strada di questa gara e sta dominando la gara con tantissima acqua, come si dice, tra lei e il resto degli equipaggi. Infatti con 35 colpi al minuto sta guadagnando sempre più terreno, palata dopo palata. Si vuole confermare la più forte tra tutte. Seguita per adesso attualmente quella che è la posizione per l'argento è l'atleta cinese Ruiki Liu, che sta sfidando la sua connazionale Yan Li, probabilmente per una valutazione, un'eventuale barca per il mondiale. Quindi chissà chi vincerà tra le due. Sembrerebbe appunto che Ruiki Liu sta avendo la meglio. Mentre per la terza posizione adesso se la sta contendendo la belga Mazarine Gilbert, che con 33 colpi al minuto cerca di mantenere stabile quella che è la sua posizione. Seguita invece un po' più attardata Margaret Fallows, l'americana, e la svizzera Olivia Nacht.
Boy, it must feel good to be a Lauren Henry in that GB single. She's done the damage early on, and she keeps stretching away from the rest of the field in an absolute class of their own. Passing 1,500 meters now, she's almost 11 or 12 seconds actually up on the second place athlete. That is Liu from the People's Republic of China. Third is still Gilbert from Belgium. She's doing quite well for herself, clinging on to that last qualifying position to the A final. but she's followed closely by fellows from the USA and Li also from the People's Republic of China. The only athlete not really featuring, she's Clearwater down at the moment. Sad to see Olivia Nacht not being able to bring her best here, but she's going all out. Lauren Henry leading Richie, class of the field, I'd say.
Absolutely, we're getting a display of how to scull and how to race perfectly here from Lauren Henry, centre of the course. Fantastic footage from the drone and from on the water as well, just seeing just how much of a lead she has and some fantastic side-by-side features as well. Coached by Andrew Randall, she really has lifted her technique and added both lengths on with the speed over the last number of seasons to see her win that European Championship recently. She continues to move away from the field, looking good and coming into our view here, securing that one of 3 spots into the A final, along with the Chinese sculler Liu Riqiu, and Gilbert Mazarin moving from 4th into 3rd, looking good for that third qualifying spot.
Sembra lasciare solo le briciole alle avversarie. Lauren Henry lì davanti con un vantaggio quasi imbarazzante nei confronti di Cina e Belgio, che poi stanno giocando la seconda e terza piazza, quelle che varranno per il passaggio alla finale. Fantastica l'azione dell'atleta inglese che sfruttava al massimo la sua lunghezza, tutto il suo settore, lasciava scivolare benissimo il suo singolo. Una regata incredibile, veramente un esempio di bel canottaggio.
So just hearing the other qualifiers coming in for their finish line, and it finishes up with Lauren Henry taking the win there and securing her place in the A final, along with People's Republic of China Liu Riqiu in 2nd place and the Belgian Mazarin Gilbert. They're the 1, 2 and 3. Republic of China, USA and Switzerland will join the B final. Lane 1 for Italy, Anna Sarah Sophie Sower. In lane 2 for Brazil, Beatriz Cardoso. In lane 3 for Uzbekistan, Anna Praketan. In lane 4 for Germany, Juliana Faralish. In lane 5 for Canada, Katie Clark. And lane 6 for Japan, Shishu Yonekawa.
Canada, Japan, attention.
We are underway for the second semi-final of the women's singles sculls and looking to see who's going to join the three crews that qualified from the earlier race in semi-final 1. In lane 1, just to recap, we've Italy, lane 2, Brazil, lane 3, Uzbekistan, lane 4, Germany, lane 5, Canada, and in lane 6, Japan. Leading it out at the moment, very little between all the crews, is the Japanese sculler in lane 6, Yokinawa, who just off the first few strokes leading it ahead, but the Brazilian sculler Cardoso as well, matching her on both speed and on the rates as well. So those two tussling it out and very much in contention in the first 100 metres. It's Katie Clark of Canada. Of course, all can change as they settle into their race pace coming into the first few 100 metres. Some beautiful side-by-side shots there of the Japanese sculler on the left-hand side of the screen in lane 6, powering up and still maintaining a second place. She's just been overtaken out by the Uzbekistani sculler Anna Prakaten in the centre of the course, now leading it out in lane 3, ahead of Japan and Canada, with Brazil very much in touch as well. A little bit further back then to Germany and Italy as they settle into the first 200 metres.
Superata la boa dei primi 250 metri della seconda semifinale del singolo femminile con Anna Prakaten, la vice campionessa europea dei Giochi Olimpici di Tokyo, che ha preso la testa di questa semifinale e cerca di fare l'andatura, tallonata però dall'atleta canadese e dall'atleta brasiliana che cercano di mantenere il contatto. In acqua 1 abbiamo anche Sophie Sauer, atleta che rappresenta per la prima volta nelle competizioni internazionali l'Italia, lei che fu settima ai Giochi Olimpici di Tokyo nel singolo per l'Olanda in quell'occasione, sta cercando ovviamente di andare a caccia dei primi 3 posti.
So they've just gone through the 500-metre mark, and it is Anna Prakaten of Uzbekistan just leading slightly from Katie Clark of Canada in second and Cardoso of Brazil in third. And we'll head straight up to Tim and Alexander for the latest update on the second semi-final of the women's single sculls.
Thanks, Richie. And we are looking at the Tokyo Olympic silver medalist from Uzbekistan. She is leading, and she's increasing her lead in this second 500. Anna Prakaten really doing everything she can to get her bow ball out in front as soon as she can. And it's a great tactic, especially in single sculls. It pays to be ahead because you can really see and respond to any late charges from your competitors. It is Prakaten leading by about a boat length over the rest of the field, except for Katie Clark from Canada. The Canadian athlete doing really well in these early stages of the race, but yesterday in the heat she had a phenomenal first 1500 meters, and then she was struggling a bit in that last quarter of the race. So I'm hoping she isn't throwing in the kitchen sink too early and able to maintain this high speed at the moment. She is about 3/4 of a length down, I think, on the Uzbekistani athlete, and then sandwiched in between them it is Faralish from Germany going toe-to-toe with Cardoso from Brazil for third and fourth at the moment. The outer lanes then, Sophie Sauer from Italy, representing Italy, but of course as a Dutch she still has a soft spot in my heart. Great to see the multiple World Championships medalist now representing the tricolore of Italy doing well here. She's fighting to keep up with the leading 4 athletes, and Yonekawa from Japan, I think, just ahead of Sophie Sauer at 1,000. Looking towards Prakaten still, I think she's feeling the squeeze a bit from the other athletes. Canada and Germany really on the move there, putting some pressure on Prakaten from Uzbekistan.
Ci stiamo avvicinando a 750 metri dalla fine di questa seconda semifinale del singolo femminile. Ieri nella batteria Uzbekistan, Germania e Canada hanno registrato tempi molto simili. Si riconfermeranno? Questo lo vedremo alla fine dei 2000 metri, perché sappiamo che ogni gara è differente, soprattutto se si tratta della semifinale. Abbiamo in testa l'uzbeka che ricordiamo è vice campionessa olimpica nel singolo a Tokyo sotto la bandiera del comitato russo e invece a Parigi ha portato sempre il singolo, però rappresentando i colori con cui sta gareggiando tuttora. Prakaten sta mantenendo con 34 colpi al minuto la sua prima posizione, seguita dalla Germania Faralish che con gli stessi numero di colpi e apparentemente anche di velocità, anche se da quello che possiamo vedere ci sta spostando sempre più, forse si sta preparando per gli ultimi 500 metri finali. È importante cercare di guadagnare velocità il prima possibile e infatti si sta avvicinando all'atleta uzbeka, mentre per la terza posizione e quindi l'ultima necessaria per entrare in finale A possiamo invece trovare Katie Clark del Canada. Un po' più attardati invece vediamo l'italiana Sauer, il Giappone e il Brasile.
Prakaten doing everything she can to keep that bubble out in front. She's still leading at 1500, followed very closely by Faralic from Germany. That's the top two. The last qualifying position, Richie, it's going to come down to the wire between Cardoso from Brazil and Katie Clark, who is still clinging on to third place at the moment. But 8 meters down from her third position is a very fast sprinting Brazilian athlete. So we'll see how that pans out in the final 400 meters of this race.
Absolutely, I think you've called it there, Tim. Praktikan looking good and being pushed along by the really solid 500 that the German's Gunnar Farlish did to get back into contention. She moved from 5th up to 2nd place and very much in contact now with Praktikan. These two moving away a little bit, and I think we're going to have that battle for the third qualifying spot between Canada and Brazil. Katie Clark did a lot of the running at the start of the race. Has it taken too much out of her, or does she have something left in the tank to control this race and take that third qualifying spot? She's coming under increased pressure from Cardoso of Brazil for that third spot.
Continua a mantenere la testa di questa seconda semifinale l'atleta dell'Uzbekistan Anna Prakaten, ma sta uscendo bene anche la Germania con Julien Faralic che sta producendo una progressione importante, si è portata a mezza imbarcazione dalla battistrada e sta cercando di guadagnare metro su metro per portare la sua prua lì davanti. Cede un pochino il Brasile, rimane in terza posizione il Canada per le posizioni che contano, ma rimangono comunque 4 singoliste abbastanza vicine. Anna Prakaten cerca di accelerare per non far rientrare la Germania, poi Canada e Brasile.
What a finish coming in to close out the second semi-final. An absolute blanket there between the three scullers in the centre of the course. All bunching up right towards the last 100 metres. Prakaten doing all the running from the very start. Pushed right to the line there by Farlish of Germany and Katie Clark. The three qualifiers joining Great Britain, China and Belgium. It is Uzbekistan, Germany and Canada. Katie Clark just holding off the challenge of the Brazilian sculler. And in 5th place it was the Italian sculler, followed by Japan back in 6th. So we now know who our finalists are going to be for the women's single sculls. Joining Great Britain, China and Belgium, it is Uzbekistan, Germany and Canada. the semi-finals of the men's single sculls.
Semifinale del singolo maschile.
Lane 1, Austria, Lorenz Lindorfer. Lane 2, Belgium, Tim Brees. Lane 3, Netherlands, Simon van Dorp. Lane 4, United States of America, Jacob Filial. Lane 5 for Uruguay, Bruno Serraro Berlioz. And Lane 6, Great Britain, Aidan Thompson.
United States of America, Uruguay, Great Britain, attention.
And we are underway for the first semi-final of the men's single sculls. We saw some great semi-final racing in the women's races in the last two to see who our six finalists are going to be. And up here at the first semi-final, we have Austria in lane 1, Belgium, Netherlands, USA, Uruguay and Great Britain contesting here for, again, 3 spots available for the A final, and the 3 lower positions in 4th, 5th and 6th going into the B final. Leading it out centre of the screen, you can see Simon van Dorp, a familiar sight to see him leading the sculling race here. He is leading in lane 3 at the moment, ahead of the Uruguay sculler in 2nd place, but very little between all these scullers, very much in contention as well. Lindorfer of Austria, they looked like the top 3 with just a boat length and a half separating all 6 scullers coming through the first few hundred metres. All eyes are going to be on the centre of the course with Netherlands and USA, 2 of the fastest times coming out of the heats. But as we watch there, we're seeing Van Dorp now moving to 3/4 of a length lead ahead of the pack.
Un minuto è passato dalla luce verde per la prima semifinale del singolo maschile e troviamo Simon van Dorp, medaglia di bronzo a Parigi lo scorso anno in questa specialità, a mettersi lì davanti e 5 avversari sulla stessa linea che cercano di braccarlo, ma lui si sta distendendo con le sue misure, con le sue leve per far scivolare il suo singolo e cercare di uscire fuori dal gruppone.
They're settling into their race paces now, and Van Dorp continues to move away from the chasing pack, but there's very little between. Looking across the screen there, the only sculler a little bit further back, and it's only by half a length. It's Aidan Thompson of Great Britain, but with so much overlap, there's barely 2 or 3 seconds separating 2nd all the way to 6th. So all to play for here. They've gone through the 500-metre mark, and Tim, a very familiar sight to see Van Dorp taking the control of the race here, centre of the course.
Yeah, my estimate is that Simon van Dorp is sort of growing into this World Cup, not having to race all out every single race, but slowly we are starting to see the true form of the tall Dutchman, the bronze medalist from the Paris Olympic Games in this boat class. He's stepping it up. He was quick out of the blocks, as you mentioned there, Richie, and he took a full length immediately to the American athlete, that tall figure of Filial from the USA in one of the favoured centre lanes. Just a quick shout out to all the former lightweights in this semi-final, because Lindorfer, Brees and Serraro Berlioz from Austria, Belgium and Uruguay respectively, all former lightweights and transitioning into the open weight category. And if you can see the picture, you can clearly see the difference between the athletes who started their career as lightweights and the slightly taller, slightly heavier athletes in the center lanes. Of course, they're slightly taller, and I think the tallest man in this race is going to be a very close match between Van Dorp and Philo. I think the American just slightly taller, standing at 2 meters, 8 centimeters tall, or 6'10" if you prefer an illogical metric system. But yeah, coming down across 1,000, Simon van Dorp just breaking clear water ahead of the USA, Belgium, Uruguay, and it's really close between the outside lane, Thompson and Lindorf from GB and Austria.
Si vede benissimo che questa è una semifinale, ci sono tutti gli equipaggi uno fianco all'altro, bellissimo, una gara avvincente. Sarà bellissimo vedere anche come si svolgerà adesso la seconda parte di gara, dove comincerà ad accumularsi molta stanchezza e bisogna continuare ad essere lucidi, perché qui ci si gioca la possibilità di entrare in finale A con solamente 3 posti disponibili. La prima postazione è senza sorpresa, aggiungerei per adesso mantenuta dal singolista con dei valori fisiologici mostruosi, l'olandese Simon van Dorp, seguito subito dopo dall'americano Jacob Fliehal, che ha portato il singolo a Parigi con i colori statunitensi. E non lontano, perché si sta facendo sempre più avanti l'ex peso leggero belga Tim Breed, che è stato a Parigi, sì, è stato olimpionico anche lui, ricordiamo peso leggero, quindi adesso si sta mostrando in questa categoria del senior, e quindi sicuramente ha preso anche più peso e deve essere in grado di riuscire a gestire questo peso, ma apparentemente ci sta dimostrando che sta riuscendo molto bene, mantenendo solida la sua posizione. Quindi ricapitolando, adesso abbiamo ancora in testa l'olandese, seguito da una battaglia testa a testa tra l'atleta americano e il belga, e si stanno sbattagliando per la quarta e la quinta posizione Cetraro Berriolo dell'Uruguay, seguito dall'Austria e infine a chiudere la Gran Bretagna.
Simon van Dorp stretching his lead even further ahead of the American in lane number 4. And look at Tim Brees, who was, of course, in that same A final in the Paris Olympic Games as Simon van Dorp. So they know each other quite well. It is neck and neck compared to the USA and Belgium. The Netherlands still leading, but keep a close eye on that quick sprinting Lindendorfer from Austria.
So a really powerful display here from Simon van Dorp, leading it out centre of the course. The other positions still up for grabs between USA and Belgium, within striking distance. Uruguay and Austria when they came through 500, but opening up a bit of a cushion there as they come in towards the finish. Looking good so far for the Netherlands, USA and Belgium. The question is, can a charge be made by Uruguay?
Quando mancano 200 metri al traguardo si stanno aprendo un po' le posizioni. Simon van Dorp continua a fare l'andatura, seguito poi dall'atleta belgo che fu quarto subito dopo di lui a Parigi nella specialità del singolo, ma c'è una battaglia per il secondo e terzo posto tra Belgio e Stati Uniti, mentre prova a rimanere agganciato l'Uruguay, che però in questo momento sta pagando un po' di stanchezza.
So finish line is in sight. They're bunching up again. Simon van Dorp looking over his shoulder, looking for the finish line. He's winding down, knowing that he secured the first spot. USA just gets in with half a length ahead of the sculler Tim Bryce. They're the 1, 2 and 3, looking good for those qualifying spots. And then the B final positions are going to be taken up by Uruguay, Austria and Great Britain. A really powerful display. You can see just how hot it is out there. The close-up shots of the rowers sticking their legs straight away into the water to cool down. Jakob Philal there in second place. So far we have seen who's going to qualify. Tim Bryce there in third place. Their job done, and they'll be back to recover and get ready for the next race. We're going to head down to the fan zone and check it out with Mr. Varese himself, Luca.
Yeah, back here in the grandstand. We were just watching together Simon's race. Was great. He won. He's sharing an apartment with your son. Am I right?
He did. He now lives somewhere else, but he did live together in the same house, yes.
You were really happy to watch him there. Great performance. What are you expecting from the final?
Yeah, I hope it will be a final between him and Melvin, the other Dutchman.
Well, you want to get 2 medals, let's say. Well, what, the colors? Can you tell us the color?
Yeah, I hope gold and silver, of course.
That's, of course, as all to be decided. We wait tomorrow. We watch the race tomorrow. That's was lucky to see the race together today. So let's see what will happen tomorrow. So back to the tower for the next race.
Melvin, was great. No.
Yeah.
No, that's Simon. The next race is...
The second semi-final of the men's single sculls.
Seconda semifinale del singolo maschile.
In lane 1 for New Zealand, Logan Ulrich. In lane 2 for the People's Republic of China, Han Hui. In lane 3 for the Netherlands, Melvin Tweller. In lane 4 for Norway, Jonas Sletmark Hjul. In lane 5 for Belgium, Gaston Mercier. And at lane 6 for Estonia, Mikhail Kushtian.
New Zealand, China, the Netherlands, Norway, Belgium, Estonia. Attention.
And we are underway with the second semi-final of the men's singles sculls, looking to see who's going to join Netherlands, USA and Belgium from semi-final 1. All cleanly off and into their start. High rates here up at 52 strokes per minute from the Netherlands, from Melvin Tweller, centre of the course. Beautiful shot side by side there. You can see they're just starting to stretch out, even in this first few hundred metres before they settle into their race pace. Leading it out at the moment, it's the New Zealand sculler, Logan Ulrich. Had a really good heat, not so great in the quarterfinals. He had a bit of a speed wobble, but still managed to qualify in third place, and now looking to dominate the race. He took the early lead, but Melvin Tweller, just in the last few strokes, has sided up beside him there to draw level, and those two now looking that they are in control here. The other crews just all within a length of each other, as you can see on screen, as they settle into their race pace. We're in for a really exciting race here. At the moment, it looks like Melvin Tweller leading it out.
Partito molto molto forte Logan Ulrich, il vice campione olimpico del 4 senza neozelandese, ma poi Marvin Tweller, l'altro vice campione olimpico del doppio olandese, ha fatto l'andatura, ha preso la testa della gara. C'è una bella competizione, gara molto tirata, quindi è importante magari cercare di tirarsi fuori da quello che è il gruppo per poter fare il proprio ritmo, poter esprimere la propria velocità.
So similar scenario to the previous race where we saw the Dutch sculler leading it out and the chasing pack trying to stay in contact. And Tim, it's a case of deja vu here with Melvin Tweller leading it out through the 500.
Yeah, and I love the way that Melvin Tweller is racing. I mean, he's always high in the rating. You mentioned it already. It was like 50 strokes a minute, and now he's settled in his mid-race pace at 38 strokes a minute for the Dutchman, opening fast and trying to establish that early lead. And he was quite consistent from the heats to the quarterfinals, and he's looking to dominate once more. But right beside them, I have high hopes for the Norwegian sculler Huel, who was actually the fastest qualifier based on the times from the quarterfinals. So that's going to be a great tussle between the Netherlands and Norway. And Richie, you already mentioned the slight wobbly second 1,000 from Ulrich from New Zealand. I expect him to feature in the final stages of this race and maybe even getting into that A final. But also, Wei Han from China is looking good so far. I think currently he might actually be in second position. We're nearly at the end of the second 500, and China looking good then for a second at the moment, about a length down on the Dutchman in lane number 3, with Norway going with them. So plenty of racing still to come. We're about to get across the halfway mark, but it's looking good for the Netherlands, China and Norway at the moment, with New Zealand, Belgium and Estonia having the work to do. And just a quick shout out to the young Belgian athlete Gaston Mercier in lane number 5. He was 10th at the Europeans in Plovdiv, and he's been impressive so far here. Coming up against all these experienced athletes, across 1,000 they go, and it is still Tweller in the lead, just ahead of Huel from Norway, with Han from the People's Republic of China currently occupying that last qualifying position to the A final.
Gli spettatori olandesi saranno davvero entusiasti di vedere che nella posizione di testa adesso c'è ancora un olandese, ed è infatti Melvin Tweller che con 37 colpi al minuto, dopo essere sceso leggermente perché ha fatto i primi 400 metri a 40 colpi, impressionante davvero, sta mantenendo la posizione di testa con la velocità più alta di tutti. Deve stare però molto attento al norvegese Huel, che con una palata molto tranquilla e un ritmo molto tranquillo, infatti a 34 colpi al minuto, sta cercando di attaccare l'olandese per prendergli la prima posizione. Al terzo posto, quindi l'ultimo disponibile per la qualifica alla finale A, troviamo il cinese Wei Han, che ha fatto una partenza, un primo 500 molto forte. Sarà interessante vedere se riuscirà a mantenere la stessa velocità oppure ha bruciato carburante troppo in fretta. Poi a chiudere questa semifinale c'è il neozelandese Logan Ulrich, che è vice campione olimpico nel 4 senza, quindi ha cambiato specialità passando dalla punta alla coppia. Si sta comunque difendendo molto bene. E a chiudere abbiamo anche l'Estonia e Belgio.
Not much drama going on at the front of the race. The Netherlands, Norway and China lead the field and are slowly separating themselves from New Zealand, Belgium and Estonia, Richie. So unless any major accident happens in the last few hundred meters, I think we got our final qualifiers for the A finals tomorrow.
Absolutely, Tim. I think we can see who the leaders are there with the Netherlands, Norway and China. They've taken control in the last 500 and they've opened up a little bit of clear water back to Estonia, New Zealand and Belgium, who have some work to do if they're going to get an overlap in the run into this last quarter of the race. Great to see our leaders there, all 3 boats overlapping. So less than a boat length separating first to third as they come in towards the run into the finish, just coming into our view here in the tower. And it's going to be a 1-2 for Netherlands at the moment, with Tweller going the way of Simon van Dorp in the previous race, leading it out in the run into the finish. The Chinese sculler now we're watching just coming up and put a squeeze on and trying to get back into contention with Huel of Norway.
Non si sta certo risparmiando l'olandese Melvin Tweller lì davanti sin dalle prime battute, perché è braccato molto da vicino dall'avversario della Norvegia, che cerca di sopravanzarlo. Adesso l'olandese incrementa la propria velocità, addirittura mette qualche centimetro di luce, riparte anche il cinese per la seconda piazza, una bella lotta per la seconda e la terza posizione, tenta anche l'Estonia di rimanere agganciata al treno lì davanti, ma è ancora Olanda a fare l'andatura, poi Norvegia e Cina.
So a glance over the shoulder there for Melvin Tweller as he sees and takes the water, punches the water there, taking the win in the second semi-final of the men's single scull, ahead of Huel of Norway and Han of People's Republic of China. They're the qualifiers into the A-final. Really good finish there from New Zealand, trying to get back into contention from Logan Ulrich, pushing all the way up to the line, but wasn't able to get back into contention. So joining Netherlands, USA and Belgium for the first semi-final, it is the Netherlands, Tweller, Norway, Huel, and People's Republic of China. Han, they're the 1, 2 and 3 to close out the last of our semi-finals. Just checking here, one of the scullers, Gaston Mercier, just in the last few hundred metres, paddled down, so really took his foot off the gas there. We're just waiting for the final results to come in between Estonia and New Zealand. But disappointment there for Gaston Mercier in the mix in the earlier part of the race, but found the conditions tough there, just paddling home to close out the second semi-final, and it was Logan Ulrich of New Zealand who got in for fourth, just ahead of Christian of Estonia in fifth place, and Belgium Mercier in sixth. So just catching our breath after the semi-finals, and we're heading down to our man in the crowd with the mic. It is Luca.
Hey, thank you very much, Richie. Here is really hot, not only because of the heat, but because the fans are about to start cheering for the athletes. 6 finals to be contested, 6 finals that are going to be raced now. We have the PR for the first final here, and don't forget that we got Italy, so let's switch into Italian. Venite in tribuna, iniziate a prendere posto, stanno per iniziare le finalissime, abbiamo 6 finali da vivere. Nella prima, tra l'altro, abbiamo l'Italia con 3 atleti della provincia di Varese in gara. So we are about to start. We got 3 athletes from Varese trying to get a medal in the first final here. We can't wait to see you all back down by the lake and into the grandstand. The action is continuing. The fun is about to start.
The final of the PR3 Mixed Cox 4.
Finale del 4 misto PR3.
Lane 1, Spain, stroked Veronica Rodriguez Pulido and Cox Ana Gonzalez Calvo. Lane 2, Italy, stroke Stanislao Livchenko, Cox Chiara Reto. Lane 3, United States of America, stroke Ben Washburn and Cox Emily Eldracker. Lane 4, Brazil, stroke Eric Matias de Silva Lima, Cox Julinho de Silva. And Lane 5, Uzbekistan, stroke Abdmutal Abdurrahmanov and Cox by Amelbek Mustafalov.
Red light.
And we are underway for our next final, the final of the PR3 Mixed Cox 4. You might have heard the starter there giving the instruction as well as the announcements that they make. It's green light, red light and green light, telling them to start there in these PR3 races. Already into their race positions here, up at 42 strokes per minute for the majority of the crews as they start their races. And centre of the course, we can see the Brazilian crew already leading out and opening up a lead just ahead then of right beside them, the USA. They're the 1, 2 and 3, and Italy very much in the mix here for the medals as well. The outside lanes of Spain and Uzbekistan in 4th and 5th at the moment. Through the first few 100 metres, looking good so far for the Brazilian crew, settling into a nice race, but the USA very much still in contention.
È partita la finale del 4 con misto PR3 con 5 equipaggi in gara, partito molto forte la formazione del Brasile che si è messa lì davanti, viene braccata dalla formazione americana che cerca di mantenere il contatto. Bene anche l'Italia con l'equipaggio azzurro con a bordo Carolina Foresti che fu sesta a Parigi alle Paralimpiadi appunto francesi, con 3 nuovi compagni di barca per cercare di dar vita a una nuova formazione per questo nuovo corso del canottaggio azzurro.
So this PR3 Mix 4 is the only other boat along with the 8s that have a cox on board. So these are really nice and noisy is the way we describe these races as well. Plenty of action as the course comes down now, with USA looking to get back into contention against Brazil. Our early leaders coming to 500. We're going to get the first timing marker there, and hopefully this crew's overlapping and pushing each other all the way down here for medal contention. And Tim, it looks like it's the Brazilians doing the running. USA and Italy very much staying in touch, especially that crew from USA.
Yeah, we would expect the USA to do well here. And actually, to be honest with you, Richie, I'm surprised they're not in the lead, because it's one of the most experienced crews out here, especially with 2 silver medalists from the Paralympic Games returning to this crew in the stroke seat, Ben Washburn and Emily Eldracher in the coxswain seat. Those are the 2, quality athletes, joined by new quality athletes as well. And they were the quickest crew to qualify for this A final. They were 4 seconds quicker than the Brazilian boat right beside them. So a bit of a surprise to see the crew from Brazil here leading. Of course, 4 returning athletes from the Paralympic Games. They placed 8th overall back last year and last season. And they have gone out with intention to perhaps to unsettle the Americans a bit in the early stages. The USA do keep in good contact with the Brazilians. It's just a canvas separating the 2 crews, and looking at the speeds is, more or less comparable between the USA and Brazil at the moment. Brazil, though, still leading by a canvas. Then bronze medal position, I think, firmly in the hands of the Italians at the moment, because it's several lengths of clear water down to Spain and Uzbekistan, and I think the very young and inexperienced crew from Uzbekistan now getting the better of the argument ahead of the Spanish in lane number 1. The race out in front, though, the Brazilians now cross into the second half of this race. It is still a quarter of a length ahead of the USA, then a bit of clear water to the Italian tricolore.
Hanno appena superato il punto dei 1000 metri gli equipaggi del 4 con misto PR3, che stanno combattendo per le medaglie oro, argento e bronzo. Posizioni per adesso prese dall'equipaggio brasiliano, con un po' di sorpresa, perché ci aspettavamo forse un'America, visto che ha tanta esperienza con la timoniera e la capovoga, medaglia d'argento a Parigi, quindi sicuramente sanno come mantenere un buon ritmo gara per poter prendere una medaglia, seguito dai nostri italiani che cercano di mantenere salda la posizione per il bronzo e non vogliono farsela sfuggire. Possiamo trovare un po' più attardato l'equipaggio spagnolo e l'equipaggio dell'Uzbekistan, che sono quasi tutti giovani leve, che stanno facendo il loro debutto, ed è molto importante che possano continuare ad investire per il loro futuro remiero. E ci stiamo avvicinando agli ultimi 800 metri della gara, dove, mantenendo salda la posizione d'oro del Brasile con gli stessi numero di colpi e la stessa velocità degli Stati Uniti, che però sta combattendo per l'argento, e rimane solido la posizione per il bronzo dell'equipaggio italiano.
I think the Brazilian crew saved the best for last, and if you just look at the start, I love the way the Brazilian athletes are hanging off their blades so perfectly together, and in this third 500 the Brazilian coxed 4 has actually put a bit more distance into the American 4. The difference now is 40 meters, so that's more than a boat length of an advantage for Brazil in gold medal position ahead of the Americans in silver medal position, and nothing changing in terms of the medal order, I think, because Italy still look solid for that last medal. The bronze medal for Italy then coming into the final. 300 meters left to row, and what a performance by the Brazilian crew there, Richie.
Absolutely, and you called it. They've just started to open up clear water. They had an overlap with the US for first and second up in the first half of this race. But just in the last few strokes there, coming through 500, they've extended it there now, and their boat speed went up, as did their rate. And they've powered on to open up that clear water lead ahead of USA. Looking good for gold and silver. And the Italian crew back in third, they have a comfortable lead ahead of Uzbekistan and Spain. So it's unlikely that those two crews can get back into the mix in the last few hundred meters. They're just coming into view here, and a really class display from the Brazilian crew.
Molto proficua l'azione della formazione brasiliana, che sembrava dover essere sotto l'attacco dell'America nei primi 1000 metri. Stati Uniti che avevano cercato di affiancare il Brasile, ma molto bene l'azione appunto del Brasile stesso, che si è riuscito a distendere, ha risposto all'attacco, si è disteso bene, ha messo luce tra la propria poppa e la prua dell'imbarcazione americana, si sta involando verso il traguardo, andando a vincere meritatamente questa prima Coppa del Mondo. Brasile primo, secondo Stati Uniti d'America, e terzo posto medaglia di bronzo per la nuova formazione degli azzurri con Corda Foresti, Conti, Libicius e al timone Chiararetto.
So fantastic win there for the Brazilian crew. They led from the very start, and really they've the flag flying there for bow and the cocks already. Celebrations for Brazil taking the gold medal ahead of the USA in second. Italy good for the third there. Slapping water. Hopefully that's celebrations for the Italian crew picking up the medal. And we're just watching the other two crews from Uzbekistan just coming in 3/4 of a length ahead of the crew from Spain to close out this final of the PR3 Mixed Cox 4. The final of the PR3 Mixed Double Sculls.
Finale del doppio maschile, doppio misto PR3.
Lane 1, Japan. Ryota Seto, Ayako Takenao. Lane 2, Brazil. Diana Cristina Barcelos de Oliveira, Yario Natanan Frolish Klug. Lane 3, Australia. Lisa Griesel and Sam Stunnell. Lane 4, Germany. Jan Heimlich and Hermine Krumbein. Lane 5, Uzbekistan. Dinara Beliana and Akbarali Abduvaliev.
Australia, Germany, Uzbekistan. Attention, red light.
And we are away with the final of the PR3 mixed double sculls. Once again, the recap of the 5 boats contesting here. It's Japan in lane 1, Brazil in lane 2, Australia lane 3, Germany lane 4, and Uzbekistan in lane 5. All crews heading off now. Contrasting rates coming up on screen here. The Uzbeki crew up at 46 strokes per minute compared to the Japanese crew of 36 strokes. And the boat speeds just kicking in now as well. It's actually Germany leading it out. No surprise that the Olympians' experienced crew of Heimlich and Krumbein leading it out here at the moment, just ahead of Australia on their inside, as well as the Brazilian crew. They're the 1, 2 and 3, and a little bit of a gap opening up already then back to Uzbekistan and Japan in 4th and 5th. They're settling into the race pace now. Beautiful overhead shots on screen you can see there from the drone footage as we see the German crew centre of the course there, sun shining down on them and showing that little bit of a tailwind that's pushing them down the course, already into a little bit of a lead, just by about half a length ahead of the crew from Australia, right on their inside in Brazil. So all the action taking place in lanes 2, 3 and 4.
Partita molto forte la formazione tedesca, equipaggio che fu terzo, medaglia di bronzo quindi alle Paralimpiadi dello scorso anno, grande esperienza, grande affiatamento fra di loro, ma tiene bene anche l'Australia, nazione che vinse lo scorso anno questa specialità, ma adesso presenta una formazione nuova altrettanto performante perché sta rimanendo agganciata appunto alla Germania. Anche il Brasile è partito molto bene, cerca di non far scappare gli avversari, cerca di mantenere il contatto, buona l'azione di tutti e 3 gli equipaggi che stanno cominciando a sganciare le altre 2 formazioni, Uzbekistan e Giappone, che cominciano a pagare un po' di distacco al passaggio ai primi 500 metri. Insiste l'azione della Germania per non far rientrare, non consentire di rientrare all'Australia, ma l'Australia che adesso cerca di mettere il sorpasso, mettere la prua davanti, è un punta a punta fra i 2 equipaggi, quindi sarà una bella battaglia per entrambe le formazioni.
So the early leaders here were the German crew, and I think, Tim, when they were passing you at 500, the surge just gave it to the Australians, but they really are matching each other, boat speed for boat speed, stroke for stroke.
And bow ball for bow ball, Richie. It is great to see those 2 crews, those quality crews going head to head, nearly or perfectly matched in terms of rate, both at 35 strokes a minute, and there is absolutely nothing splitting these 2 crews. If I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if I were to put money down, I'd say the German crew looks really strong at this stage of the race. Just 100 meters to go before they cross the 1,000-meter mark, and a little bit of a push there from Krumbein and Helmich from Germany, which sees them, well, perhaps, their bubble a meter or 2 ahead of the crew from Australia, with Greisel and Stunnell looking very relaxed as well, not really putting in all of their effort in the first half, certainly keeping something in reserve, but they'll need to keep a close eye on the crew to their right to make sure the Germans don't build too much of a lead that it becomes unassailable in the last few 100 meters. But yeah, the first honors at the 1,000 go to Germany. It is a canvas, a little over a canvas, back to Australia, and then it's Brazil in bronze medal position, and they've opened up a huge margin ahead of Uzbekistan and Japan in places 4 and 5. So the race is on. Germany having the momentum at the moment ahead of the Aussies, followed by the Brazilians.
Le preliminary race possono essere molto ingannevoli, quindi dobbiamo stare attenti perché il risultato può sempre cambiare. L'abbiamo visto nella finale precedente e lo stiamo osservando adesso, perché se nella preliminary race l'Australia ha vinto con 16 secondi sopra l'equipaggio tedesco e adesso invece la Germania ad avere la posizione del colore preferito dagli atleti, che è l'oro, e stanno continuando a mantenere salda con un'ottima velocità a 34 colpi al minuto e stanno cercando di trovare sempre più vantaggio sopra l'equipaggio australiano. E infatti la barca tedesca è una barca con molta esperienza, come ha già menzionato Rossano, perché è infatti bronzo olimpico a Parigi, quindi sicuramente del mestiere, come piace dire a me. La terza posizione è invece occupata e mantenuta stabile dal Brasile. E anche loro sono finalisti alle Paralimpiadi di Parigi nel 2024 e per adesso sembrano essere molto salde le posizioni dell'oro, dell'argento e del bronzo, stanno pagando un po' di distacco invece il Giappone e l'Uzbekistan, però da applaudire comunque l'equipaggio dell'Uzbekistan perché hanno solamente 16 e 17 anni.
It's time to go for the Aussies, I'm afraid. They were the quickest to qualify for this final, but perhaps just like the Brazilian crew in the mixed coxed 4 we saw earlier, the Germans have played a little bit of hide and seek in the preliminary race because the Germans were second there, and now they are rowing away from the Aussies every single stroke. It's impressive stuff from Krumbheim and Helmich from Germany, firmly established now and in gold medal position, 3 seconds up on Australia in silver, and then it's Brazil still for the bronze medal position ahead of Uzbekistan and Japan. Back to you, Richie.
So similar to the mixed fours race where we saw 3 crews leading it out and then deciding who the medals are. I think it's the same scenario here where we have Germany, Australia and Brazil well ahead of the chasing pack of Uzbekistan and Japan. The question is, with clear water between the crews now, I don't know if Australia will be getting back into contention for that gold medal. Germany having a really solid 500 coming into the last quarter of the race here. They're leading it out. Clear water then back to Australia in the silver medal position. Brazil looking good for the bronze at the moment.
Ha provato l'Australia a impensierire la Germania nei primi 1000 metri, ma nervi saldi da parte dei 2 atleti tedeschi che invece hanno continuato nella loro azione molto efficace e nella seconda parte di gara stanno facendo veramente il vuoto, quindi ad ogni palata guadagnano centimetri rispetto agli avversari a consolidare la loro leadership di questa gara. Sono lì davanti sin dalle prime battute, ma stanno veramente mettendo un margine importante, incolmabile ormai per quella che è la loro finale, che li sta portando ora sul traguardo in prima posizione, seguiti da Australia e Brasile.
So just crossing the line and taking the gold medal, it is Heimlich and Krumbheim of Germany take the win with clear water back to the Australian crew of Lisa Griesel and Sam Stunnell. They're the 1 and 2, just watching the bronze medalists coming in then. It's going to be Brazil, so 2 medals for Brazil in the space of 10 minutes there with the PR3 mixed 4 and the PR3 mixed double as well. Really fantastic rowing from the German crew, taking full control of the race there in the last quarter to move with open water, extending their lead. And you can see just how tough those racing conditions are in that heat for all of the competitors as we watch the Uzbekistani crew just coming in to take 4th place. And some way back, the Japanese crew are going to close this out. But gold, silver and bronze decided for the PR3 mixed double sculls. The gold heading the way of Germany, the silver to Australia and the bronze to Brazil. the victory ceremony for the PR3 Mixed Cox 4. The medals will be presented by World Rowing Executive Director Vincent Galliard, accompanied by Vice President of the Italian Rowing Federation Davide Tiziano, Fabrizio Quaglino. Winners of the bronze medal, Italy, Elisa Corda, Carolina Foresti, Luca Conti, Stanislaw Livichuk, and Chiara Reto. Winners of the silver medal, USA, represented by Sarah Menif, Annabelle Miller, Maxwell Allemeyer, Ben Washburn, and Emily Eldracker. Winners of the gold medal, Brazil! Represented by Marcela Teixeira de Silva, Annalena Dumas, Gabriel Mendes de Sousa, Eric Matias de Silva Lima, and Chulilino de Silva. Varese, give it up for your bronze medalists, Italy. Your silver medalists, United States of America. And your gold medalists, Brazil. So we are underway in the next race, which is the final of the lightweight women's single sculls. Fast and furious, these races and medal ceremonies are taking place now. They're underway, and the lineup here, we have Italy in lane 1, Uzbekistan lane 2, Austria lane 3, Mexico lane 4, Norway lane 5, and Uruguay in lane 6. Off to a speedy start at centre of the course, the Mexican sculler Kenia Lechuga analyst leading it out at the moment in the first few strokes, ahead then of the Austrian sculler Lara Tiefenhaller. They're the 1 and 2 centre of the course. Some of the fastest qualifiers from the heats now leading it out in this final, and they are just opening up a slight lead, as you can see on screen. These two moving away, but certainly not getting too much of clear water. The Uruguayan sculler in lane 6 nearest to us on screen, holding on to an overlap there in third place at the moment, just ahead of Norway, staying in touch. And on the far side of your screen, you can see the Italian and Uzbekistani scullers still overlapping. So just about 3 lengths separating first to sixth in this final of the lightweight women's single sculls. All the action centre of the course looking good so far for the early leaders from Austria and Mexico.
Siamo in acqua con la finale del singolo femminile pesi leggeri con l'atleta messicana che è partita velocissima, si è messa lì davanti, tallonata però dall'Austria che cerca di non far scappare l'avversaria. Molto bene anche la nostra giovanissima Melissa Schincarioli in acqua 1. Lei, atleta della canottiera di Cernobbio, che lo scorso anno vinse il titolo mondiale nel 4 di coppia Under 19, adesso è qui alla prova con atlete più esperte di lei, ma è partita con grande coraggio e sta cercando di dire la sua. Continua l'azione della singolista messicana che cerca di non far rientrare l'avversaria austriaca, che paga meno di 7 decimi al passaggio ai primi 500 metri, quindi molto ravvicinate le due atlete che stanno facendo l'andatura.
So they're through the 500-meter mark, and it's Mexico leading it out still from Austria, the early leaders, 1-2, and Uruguay staying in touch. They're the 1, 2, and 3. But Tim, just 5 seconds separating the first 5 crews. So it's really anyone within striking distance of getting in the mix for the medals here.
Yeah, we know a lot can happen in these single sculls with athletes judging their own race plan to perfection and knowing where their strengths and weaknesses lie. And you see some athletes going out of the blocks quite conservatively and then sort of building speed and momentum into that second half of the race. But I'm not surprised to see Kenia Lechuga Alanis from Mexico leading the field. She was very impressive in the heats yesterday, and I do love her racing style. She's really punchy, really aggressive, and she really goes for it. Her best result on the world stage, I think, was a silver medal at the World Championships in 2023. And she, of course, raced the single in Rio at the Olympic Games there, finishing 12th overall. And that was, of course, the open weight category. Now, as a lightweight, she's really putting her foot down and making a mark here on this A final. And she's opening up a slightly bigger lead. It's a little over half a boat length back to Lara Tiefenthaler from Austria, the newly crowned European champion in this boat class, followed very closely by the sculler from Norway. And that's, of course, Maja Lund, who got a silver in Plovdiv. But she's not really safe in bronze medal position because keep a close eye out on the sculler from Uzbekistan. Malinka Takhmatova is pushing on, trying to get her hands on that bronze medal as we speak. Across 1,000 meters gone, it is Lechuga Alanis from Mexico leading by 3/4 of a length ahead of Tiefenthaler from Austria for the gold and the silver. And then it's very close. Also keep an eye on Nicole Yarzon from Uruguay, the under-23 athlete, now really transitioning into that senior level. So multiple athletes actually going for that bronze medal, with the Norway, Uruguay and Uzbekistan still within striking distance of that final spot. But clear water ahead, Mexico and Austria.
Ed è l'olimpionica messicana Kenia Lechuga Alanis ad aprire le danze per questa finale A, mantenere attualmente una posizione di vantaggio rispetto alle sue avversarie. Deve comunque tenere sott'occhio l'austriaca che con 34 colpi al minuto, 2 in meno rispetto alla leader di questa gara, sta comunque mantenendo una buona velocità e vuole sicuramente mantenere salda adesso la posizione che ha, però abbiamo ancora 800 metri di gara, quindi tutto può succedere, perché ricordiamo la gara finisce ai 2000 metri. Seguita dalla posizione, la terza posizione, quindi attualmente medaglia di bronzo, la norvegese Lund, che sta tranquillamente gestendo il suo passo. Un po' più attardate troviamo l'Uruguay e la nostra Melissa Schincariol, che ho notato sta cercando sicuramente di fare la sua gara, anche perché fino negli ultimi anni ha avuto belle gare nonostante la giovane età, quindi sicuramente ha un futuro roseo e anche un altro grande in bocca al lupo alla nostra italiana.
A quick summary of that third 500 meters. It is still Kenia Lechuga Alanis from Mexico leading, increasing her lead ahead of Lara Tiefenthaler from Austria, the European champion. And a bit more clarity on that bronze medal position. Maja Lund from Norway, I think, more firmly secure of that final podium spot, because Takhmatova and Yarzon from Uzbekistan and Uruguay slipping back slightly. And also on the far side, Italy, round about that 5th or 6th position coming into the final 340 meters. Back to you, Richie.
It's easy to see why you're so impressed with this Mexican sculler, Tim, because she's led out from the start, really powerful rowing, and centre of the course, she's in full control of the race here, able to look left and right and see that she has clear water and see when any of the challenges are coming into the last quarter from Lara Tiefenhaller or Maya Lund in second and third place at the moment. But a little bit of clear water still, you can see on screen, between the first and second position there, and anything can happen in the last few hundred metres, but it looks like Mexico might have opened up enough of a cushion of a lead here. Gold looking good for them. Lara Tiefenhaller in the silver medal position at the moment, holding off the challenge of Maya Lund. They're the 1, 2 and 3.
E quando le atlete stanno regattando all'interno del corridoio contraddistinto dalle boe rosse, quelle dello sprint finale, direi che è imprendibile Kenia Lechuga Alanis, l'atleta messicana che forte della sua esperienza nel singolo pesi leggeri, ha distribuito bene le sue forze, ha cercato di scrollarsi di dosso subito l'austriaca e che rimane in seconda posizione. Adesso per il terzo posto vediamo uscire anche l'atleta norvegese, ma continua a fare l'andatura l'atleta messicana che si sta involando verso il traguardo.
So gold medal heading the way of Mexico as she powers to the line here. It is going to be Kenia Lechuga Alanis of Mexico taking the win there ahead. Silver medal going to Lara Tiefenhaller of Austria. And then the bronze medal, it is Maya Lund of Norway. They're the 1, 2 and 3 in a really tight race here with the Uruguay sculler Nicole Yarzon just holding on to fourth position ahead. It looked like the Italian sculler might have actually pulled back and nipped up the position there in the last few strokes, just passing out the Uzbeki sculler. So just to confirm there, it was Italy in fifth place ahead of Uzbekistan in sixth. So just to recap, gold medal heading the way of Mexico, silver to Austria and the bronze to Norway. The victory ceremony for the PR3 mixed double sculls. The medals will be presented by World Rowing President Jean-Christophe Rolland, accompanied by Vice President of the Italian Rowing Federation, Fabrizio Quaglino. Winners of the bronze medal: Brazil, Diana Cristina Barcelo de Oliveira and Yario Nathanael Froelich Klug. Winners of the silver medal, Australia, represented by Lisa Griesel and Sam Stunnell. Winners of the gold medal, Germany, Jan Helmisch and Hermine Krumbein. Varese, give it up for your bronze medalists, Brazil. Your silver medalists, Australia. And your gold medalists, Germany. The final of the lightweight men's single scull.
Finale del singolo maschile pesi leggeri.
In lane 1 for Uzbekistan, Shahzad Nurmatov. In lane 2 for Slovakia, Peter Strakansky. In lane 3 for Uruguay, Felipe Culver Friera. In lane 4 for Hong Kong, China, Chu Chin Chun. In lane 5 for Italy, Luca Borgonovo. And in lane 6 for Italy, Giovanni Borgonovo. And we are underway for the lightweight men's single sculls. Just gone through the first few strokes and opening up a quick lead, 54 strokes per minute from the Hong Kong China sculler Chu to open up a little lead, but right beside him Uruguay, Culver Friera, they're side by side and matching each other at the moment. Slovakia's Peter Strakansky, the young sculler, staying in touch as well. And just on the outside lanes, Uzbekistan and Italy falling a little bit behind, but in the first 100 metres we have 2 boat lengths separating first to 6, which is exactly the kind of race we want to see here in this final of the lightweight men's single sculls. Centre of the course, you can see beautiful overhead drone shots here of the centre crews leading it out here between lanes 2, 3, 4 and 5. The Slovakian, Uruguay, Hong Kong, China and Italy still leading at the moment. It looks now like Peter Strakansky setting into his race pace of 39 strokes per minute, just about leading ahead of Uruguay. They're the 1 and 2 at the moment, and very little between Hong Kong, China and Italy too.
Quando è passato un minuto dalla partenza della finale del singolo pesi leggeri, gli equipaggi sono ancora tutti piuttosto allineati, quindi molta compattezza su quanto riguarda le prestazioni. In questo momento la prua, il numerino forse davanti è quello dell'atleta slovacco in corsia 2, però prova l'uruguaiano a mettere fuori la sua pallina, la sua prua, molto compatti ancora tutti i concorrenti, dove troviamo anche i 2 azzurri in acqua 5 e acqua 6, i 2 fratelli Borgonovo, Luca e Giovanni, che cercheranno di confrontarsi non solo con tutti gli avversari ma anche tra di loro.
So blistering start from all 6 scullers. They approach the 500-metre mark. It's now the Uruguayan who's settled into the lead, just holding off Hong Kong, China. They're the 1 and 2. Strakansky of Slovakia in 3rd place at the moment, ahead of Italy, Uzbekistan and Italy. And we'll head up straight away to Tim, who can give us the update as they approach the 1,000-metre mark.
Yeah, and a quick update on the wind conditions here at 1,000, with the athletes still being around the 600-metre mark. I can tell you that the wind is picking up slightly, and I think all these athletes will enjoy, if not relish, these tailwind conditions here with the Uruguayan Cluver Ferreira leading at the moment. He's just a couple of feet up on Xiu from Hong Kong, China, the man who made himself an instant legend winning in Lucerne last year at the World Cup, the first able-bodied gold medal for Hong Kong, China, and he's doing quite well. He was fastest qualifier for this A final, and he's just perhaps 5 feet down on Cluver Ferreira from Uruguay for the gold and the silver. Behind those two, it is Strakansky at the moment, who is in bronze medal position, also just a couple of feet up on Luca Borgonovo from Italy. Of course, an experienced lightweight athlete with numerous medals at the under-23s and seniors, but racing right beside his brother Giovanni in this A final must be an absolute privilege. And coming now into view here at the 1000, it is still the Cluver Ferreira from Uruguay trying to put some more distance into the athlete from Hong Kong, China. Half a length in it between the gold and the silver, and then there's precious little splitting Strakansky and Luca Borgonovo from Italy for the bronze.
Il vento fortunatamente a favore sta aumentando e il cielo si sta aprendo con il sole che sta facendo brillare sull'acqua di questo lago i suoi raggi, ma a brillare non è solo il sole, saranno anche le medaglie che si stanno contendendo questi equipaggi che sono uno di fianco all'altro. Anche qui non si può sbagliare alcuna palata. A comando della gara abbiamo l'uruguaiano Cluver Ferreira, che con i colpi più bassi rispetto a tutti, infatti viaggia sui 33-34 colpi al minuto, quindi avrà un'azione molto potente in acqua, cerca di mantenere la sua posizione di vantaggio sopra Hin Chun Chiu, Hong Kong, perché è assolutamente vicino al singolista, stanno mantenendo la stessa velocità, quindi bisogna vedere se riuscirà l'atleta da Hong Kong a superare l'uruguaiano oppure mantenere la sua posizione d'argento. Deve stare però anche attento allo slovacco Peter Strakansky, che sta martellando, sta cercando, aumentando i colpi per raggiungere le prime due posizioni. Deve fare a sua volta attenzione invece al nostro italiano Luca Borgonovo, un atleta con esperienza a livello under 23, perché infatti è medagliato, e ho riconosciuto subito la parata da peso leggero e anche per il numero di colpi. Infatti sia Luca che Giovanni, fratelli, viaggiano ai 37-38 colpi al minuto, e adesso ci stiamo avvicinando all'ultimo quarto di gara, quello fondamentale per consegnare le medaglie.
About 7 seconds separating first to last. It is still Cluver Ferreira from Uruguay leading in that gold medal position. He may have increased his lead over Hin Chun Chiu from Hong Kong, China, slightly moving out to a full-length lead. And then it's awfully tight between Strakansky from Slovakia and Luca Borgonovo from Italy for that bronze medal, with Nurmatov and Giovanni Borgonovo slightly behind the leading four crews. But coming towards the line now, sprinting towards the line now, Richie. Four crews going for 3 medals. Who is it going to be?
So unlike the women's lightweight single, where it would look like we knew who was going to take those medals into the last quarter, really competitive race here in the men's lightweight single with 4 boats in the mix, doing all the running. Cluver Ferreira out of the stroke. He has just 3/4 of a length lead, contrasting style from the Hong Kong sculler in second place, who now gets an overlap. So these two battling it out for gold.
Continua l'azione importante da parte dell'atleta uruguaiano Felipe Cluver Ferreira, che con questa azione appunto con colpi un po' più controllati rispetto agli avversari, ma che adesso vede crescere il proprio ritmo perché ci sono le boe rosse, bisogna fare lo sprint finale, cerca di sganciare l'atleta di Hong Kong che l'ha tallonato per tutta la gara. In terza posizione la Slovacchia, che viene comunque aggredita sportivamente da Luca Borgonovo in acqua 5, che cerca di rientrare, va a superarlo per la terza piazza, ed è azzurra la medaglia di bronzo, quindi Uruguay, Hong Kong e Italia.
So he went there again just in the run-up to the finish. It was Felipe Culver Ferreira who powered to the line, just getting back to a little bit of clear water, taking the gold medal in the lightweight men's single sculls. Chu Hin Shun taking the silver medal for Hong Kong, China. And just on the surge to the finish, it was Luca Borgonovo taking the bronze for Italy in third place, ahead of Strakansky in fourth, just missing out on the medal podium. Fifth then to Uzbekistan and sixth to Giovanni Borgonovo. But the gold heading the way of Uruguay, silver medal Hong Kong, China, and the bronze to Italy. The victory ceremony for the lightweight women's single sculls. The medal will be presented by World Rowing Council member Victoria Aguirre Gomez Corta, accompanied by General Manager Organizing Committee Pier Palpo Frattini. Winners of the bronze medal: Norway, Maja Emil Lund. Winners of the silver medal, representing Austria, Lara Tiefenhaller. Winner of the gold medal, representing Mexico, Keniela Chugalanes. Varese, give it up for your bronze medalists, Norway! Your silver medalists, Austria! And your gold medalists, Mexico! Final of the PR2 mixed double sculls.
Finale del doppio misto PR2.
In lane 1 for Mexico, Miguel Angel Netio Capio and Liliana Gallo Flores. Lane 2 for Brazil, Jessica Guerra and Michael Gomez Pesana.
In acqua 1 Messico, in acqua 2 Brasile.
Mexico, Brazil, attention.
And they are away for our next final. It is the PR2 mixed double scull final, a two-boat race here between Mexico and Brazil. Both crews going off similar rates of 48, 49 strokes per minute, but the boat speed the better for the Brazilians at the moment as they open up a little bit of a lead just off the first few strokes. Settling in now, Mexico reacting to that early lead that Brazil have taken, but literally in the first 10 strokes, they are still side by side, and at the moment, just a canvas separating the two crews as they settle into their race pace. The stroke rate up on screen there, you can see the Mexicans, that higher stroke rate of 43, 42 strokes per minute. The Brazilians settling into 39. And beautiful overhead shots. You can see as well the little bit of a tailwind that's rippling the water there and pushing these crews down. Always nice to have a tailwind in racing conditions. Just helps with getting to the finish line that bit quicker. Settling into their race pace now, it does look like the Brazilian crew of Aguera and Gomez Pesana leading it out here just by about 3/4 of a lead and length of a lead, and they're starting to move away from the Mexican crew, but we know anything can change in these smaller boats, and it's up to the Mexicans to stay in contention, stay with that overlap all the way down this 2,000-meter course and hopefully challenge for the gold medal.
Partenza abbastanza equilibrata fra entrambi gli equipaggi, poca differenza per quella che è la velocità sviluppata, qualche colpo in meno per la formazione brasiliana che in questo momento sta facendo l'andatura, cerca di mantenere il contatto, rimanere attaccata alla formazione messicana che è a quasi una lunghezza di distanza, però cercano di non far scappare gli avversari, si stanno distribuendo, adesso si stanno allungando dopo le fasi di partenza, velocità molto buona per entrambe le formazioni, continua la sua azione la formazione brasiliana che cerca di guadagnare centimetro su centimetro, palata su palata.
So we saw in the preliminary race, it was the Brazilian crew who had the win over the Mexicans when they raced yesterday, and it's similar here now as we see Brazil opening up a lead, but staying in contention still as they come to the 500-meter mark. Tim, it's looking nice and competitive there, still within striking distance, the Mexicans not letting the Brazilians move off.
No, they're keeping the Brazilians perfectly honest here through that first quarter, just 2 and a bit seconds separating these two crews, and I am slightly worried, Richie, to be perfectly frank with you, because the Brazilian combination is having that slightly higher boat speed in this second 500, and they're about to push off to a full length, perhaps even a bit of clear water, and you can see the Mexican crew well, seeing that danger, reacting to it, pushing the rate up to almost 40 strokes a minute, with Liliana Gallo Flores in the stroke seat, doing everything she can, together with Miguel Angel Nieto Carpio from Mexico, to stay with that Brazilian combination, with the experienced Michael Gomez Pesana in the stroke seat, and he's seen a lot of racing in his career at world level. He raced at the Rio Paralympic Games on home water, and he's taking all that experience and putting it to good use here in this second 500, ticking it along at 36 strokes a minute, and well, just that slightly better boat speed compared to Mexico. Interesting to see that the Mexican, the bowman in that Mexican double, Nieto Carpio, of course, raced at the Olympic or the Paralympics, got 9th overall, and here with that new partner, the aforementioned Liliana Gallo Flores in the stroke seat, seeking a bit more speed out of this combination, and they are pushing on, still at 40 strokes a minute, impressive stuff, but it's a shorter, kind of stabby stroke from the Mexican combination, whereas the Brazilian combination have a little bit of more length to their stroke, and they really propel that boat across the 1,000 meters right now so efficiently, and it looks like they are rowing well within themselves, or the crew from Mexico are slightly higher, perhaps a bit in the red at the moment. So halfway gone, it is Brazil leading Mexico in this two-boat race, and it must be very tough being in that Mexican boat at the moment, because you really have to motivate yourself and convince yourself you still have a chance of overhauling the Brazilian crew next to you.
Oggi, come ieri, due barche e due stili, due tecniche diverse, e lo possiamo vedere benissimo, anche perché la barca che adesso è in testa, ovvero il Brasile con Gomez Pessagna e Guerra, che ha passato il primo 500 a 2 secondi di distanza dal Messico e sta guadagnando sempre più acqua, sempre più terreno rispetto ai loro avversari. Sta facendo respirare molto la barca. Sono passati quei 1000 metri, quindi abbiamo avuto la possibilità proprio di averli direttamente davanti a noi, e hanno proprio molta sincronia, si vedono il tronco e le pale andare proprio all'unisono, e questo sicuramente aiuta parecchio l'efficienza della barca, perché se le pale si immergono nell'acqua nello stesso momento e c'è una spinta all'unisono, decisamente aiuta ad avere una buona velocità della barca. E infatti si stanno ormai riconfermando in testa i brasiliani con 36 colpi al minuto, leggermente più bassi rispetto invece ai due messicani Gallo Flores e Nieto Carpio, che hanno mantenuto per tutta la gara e stanno continuando a mantenere dei colpi molto alti. Infatti stanno variando dai 38 a addirittura i 40 colpi, magari per cercare più velocità, per cercare insomma di attaccare e reagire in qualche modo. Due gli equipaggi, Brasile e Messico, che stanno combattendo e stanno arrivando agli ultimi 500 metri.
So in that third 500, it's all about, synchronicity. The double, in any case, is a difficult boat to row. It's all about perfectly identical application of power and that blade work, which is just slightly better in that Brazilian crew, just gelling together that bit better than the Mexican double right beside them. They've opened up a little bit more of clear water ahead of Brazil, and they are rowing home now well inside the last 350 meters. So I'll hand you to Richie for the final bit of this A final.
Thank you, Tim. Really difficult racing conditions you mentioned there for Mexico, but also have to contend with there's just one medal on offer here in the two-boat race, and at the moment it's firmly in the grasp of the Brazilian crew. We're seeing some fantastic footage there of the two crews with Brazil in the foreground, Mexico in the background, and now we can see the drone footage, just how much of a lead Brazil have opened up coming into this last quarter. In full control here, Miguel Angel Netio Carpio in the bow seat. He's a big guy, big unit, and using all that upper body strength, and Jessica Guerra in the bow seat of Brazil, and Michel Gomez Pessina. You can see them on screen there using all of their strength and technique, powering home here ahead of the Mexican crew. And they come down to the last 250 red markers are there for them. That's going to be motivation for them. It's Brazil leading out Mexico coming into the last few hundred.
Ultimi 200 metri di questa gara, quando l'esito ormai è molto definito, con la formazione brasiliana a fare veramente l'andatura. Nella seconda parte di gara sono riusciti veramente a fare una differenza importante sugli avversari, la formazione messicana. Interessante vedere come il prodiere della formazione brasiliana cerca di anticipare leggermente la propria capovoga per aiutarla a alleggerirla un pochino in quella che è l'azione alla fine di questo percorso comunque molto tirato. Eccoli che si stanno involando verso il traguardo e fanno loro la medaglia d'oro di questa finale del doppio misto PR2.
So it's gold for Brazil, taking the win there in the PR2 mixed double sculls ahead of the crew from Mexico, who are just powering onto the line here to complete the PR2 mixed double sculls. Gold for Brazil and second place to Mexico. And congratulations to the two scullers from Brazil, Jessica Guerra and Miguel Gomez Pesina. The victory ceremony for the lightweight men's single sculls. The medal will be presented by World Rowing Council member Axel Muller, accompanied by Varese Rowing President Paolo Consoni. Winner of the bronze medal, representing Italy, Luca Borgonovo. Winner of the silver medal, representing Hong Kong, China, Chiu Hin Chun. Winner of the gold medal, representing Uruguay, Felipe Culver Ferreira. Varese, give it up for your bronze medalists, Italy! Your silver medalists, Hong Kong, China! And your gold medalists, Uruguay! the final of the PR3 men's pair.
Finale del 2 senza maschile PR3.
In lane 1 for Germany, Jan Rotländer and Philipp Doss. In lane 2 for Italy, Marco Frank and Stanislaw Litvinchuk. In lane 3 for France, Grégoire Biro and Laurent Cadeau. Lane 4 for Great Britain, Connor Smith and Joshua O'Brien. Lane 5 for Italy, Luca Conti and Igor Zappa. And lane 6 for Japan, Ryohei Ariyasu and Yasunori Sano.
Great Britain, Italy 2, Japan. Attention, red light.
And we are away for our last medal race of this afternoon's session on day 2 at World Cup of Varese. We're closing out here before our test race for the mixed eight with the PR3 men's pairs between Germany lane 1, Italy 1 lane 2, France lane 3, Great Britain lane 4, Italy 2 lane 5 and Japan in lane 6. After a clean start for all of the crews, it's Italy 1 leading it out in lane 2. Just at the moment, a little bit of clear water between them and France going with them and Great Britain. So 2, 3 and 4, the centre lanes opening up a little bit of a lead ahead of Italy 2 back in 4th place, Germany in 5th and Japan in 6th. Already the crews spreading out, as you can see on screen. Centre of the course though, it is the crew from Italy opening up a lead here just already by the first few hundred metres, coming up leading against France and Great Britain. Overlap between these three crews, so looking good so far, Rossano, for Italy.
È partita molto bene la formazione azzurra composta da Marco Frank, finalista alle Paralimpiadi dello scorso anno a Parigi nel 4 con Stanislaw Litvinchuk che ha già gareggiato poco fa nel 4 con misto, quindi alla seconda gara per lui. Ci sono tallonati dall'equipaggio francese all'Acqua 3 e poi a seguire dalla Gran Bretagna, ma ancora la Pru azzurra che sta cercando di mantenere far l'andatura, anche se la Francia cerca adesso il sorpasso.
So they're coming up on the first 500 metres and things are spreading out, but all of the action still in the centre lanes, Tim. It looks like now that France have moved into the lead, just overtaking Italy in the last few metres.
Yeah, and we were just looking at Laurent Cadeau from France, the experienced athlete in the stroke seat at 41 years old. He's the oldest competitor here in this final, and his experience stretches all the way back to 2001 when he was world champion and in the junior men's coxless 4. So that's a lot of experience, and he's still racing at international level. France indeed pushing through in one of the centre lanes. We would expect the centre lanes to come to the front of this race in this second 500, and they are leading the quick starting Italian crew who are currently in bronze medal position, because that crew from Great Britain with Connor Smith and Joshua O'Brien, and of course O'Brien in that stroke seat Paralympic gold medalist from the Paris Paralympic Games. So that's the silver medal at the moment. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Italy too, with Luca Conti from Italy, who just won a bronze medal in the mixed 4. He jumped into the boat with Igor Zappa, and they are racing all out, trying to claim another medal. Then again, a little bit of a gap back to Germany in 5th, and 6th position is Japan at the moment, and that's also a very experienced crew here out on the water. So the crews are approaching the halfway mark. France really coming into their stride here. Nice long lengthy rhythm there being set by Cadeau from in the stroke seat, and Biro in the bow seat backing his stroke man up phenomenally. It's clear water margin now back to Great Britain in silver medal position, and Italy won with Frank and Litvinchuk in the bow and stroke seat for Italy won, currently bronze medal position.
Una gara con barche con grandissima esperienza, infatti troviamo più di un finalista paraolimpico, più di un medagliato paraolimpico, quindi è un buon banco di prova per sfidarsi e vedere quanto si è capaci di andare veloci. Hanno appena passato i 1000 metri e abbiamo visto l'equipaggio francese con una tecnica pulitissima, un'azione molto lineare, molto dolce la descriverei, e infatti stanno mantenendo la testa con 33 colpi al minuto, molto tranquilli, sembrano che stiano gestendo la gara sapendo che possono fare bene, però bisogna sempre fare attenzione perché mancano 800 metri alla fine di questa gara. Vediamo se le posizioni rimarranno solide come lo sono adesso, con un secondo posto della Gran Bretagna, che sta mantenendo, anche loro stanno mantenendo con un'azione molto pulita, 34 colpi al minuto, seguita dalla posizione per il bronzo l'Italia con l'equipaggio numero 1 con Frank e Litvinchuk, che con i colpi leggermente più alti, quindi un'azione un po' più rapida, perché sappiamo, noi italiani sappiamo difendere bene questa tradizione dei colpi alti. Sta appunto mantenendo 36-37 colpi al minuto per avvicinarsi sempre di più. Un po' più attardati gli altri equipaggi del Giappone, della Germania e Italia 2 con Igor Zappa e Luca Conti, che ricordiamo appena vinto un bronzo nel 4 con misto PR3, quindi sicuramente sta accusando un po' di stanchezza, il che è assolutamente comprensibile, ma ormai ci avviciniamo agli ultimi 500-400 metri di gara, dove c'è la frizzantezza assoluta di questa gara, e vediamo come andrà a finire.
I really like the French pair. They're rowing so well consistently, and it looks that craft absolutely steady out on the water in these tailwind conditions. Perfect catches from the French pair. Behind them, it's still Great Britain silver medal position at the moment, and Italy won bronze medal. So not much chopping and changing at the front of the field. I think Italy too, with the world gold medalist from last year in this boat class, Conti and Zappa, fourth at the moment, ahead of Germany in fifth and Japan sixth, and rounding off the field. But France looking good for a gold medal there, Richie. I think they're already in the red buoy area, so it's just a few more strokes for them to go.
Yeah, they've come into the last 250. A really dominant display from the French pair here of Grégoire Biro in the bow seat, Laurent Cadeau in the stroke seat, coached by Germain Pontois. And they are clear water leaders, you can see, as they wind up towards the line here. Back in second place then, Great Britain, just holding off the challenge of Italy. Can it be a double for the Italian? Luca Conti.
Si stanno involando meritatamente verso il traguardo vittorioso la coppia francese, ma vediamo invece il serrate finale di Italia 1, Marco Frank e Stanislao Litvinchuk, che cercano di rispondere al tentativo di fuga della Gran Bretagna e si mettono in seconda posizione per una splendida medaglia d'argento che li vede precedere appunto i contendenti inglesi.
So a fantastic race there from France, and looking at the time of 6:49.85, I believe that's a world best time, passing out Hamlin and Cadeau of France for the previous time set of 6:52.08 from Poznan. We'll wait for that to be formally and officially updated and confirmed, but a fantastic row there from Biro and Cadeau taking the gold medal. Italy getting the silver medal just coming in towards the line. Luca Conti and the Italian crew of Marco Frank and Stanislao Litvinchuk just coming in to take the silver medal ahead of Great Britain. Disappointment, but still celebrations there for Great Britain. Bronze medalists ahead of Italy 2, Germany and the Japanese crew. Closing out our last medal race of the day, the PR3 men's pair. Fantastic to see, potentially the world's best time set there by France, and we'll get that confirmed shortly. And once again, it was France gold, Italy 1 silver and Great Britain bronze. The test race for the mixed eights.
Per la prima volta test race per l'otto misto.
Lane 1, Italy. Stroke, Guglielmo Meligari and coxed by Alexandra Faglia. Lane 2, United States of America. Stroke by Kathleen Knast and coxed by Nina Castagna. Lane 3, Germany. Stroked by Paul Klapperich. Stroked by Frauke Hundling and coxed by Florian Koch.
All'acqua 1 Italia, all'acqua 2 Stati Uniti d'America, all'acqua 3 Germania.
Italy, United States of America, Germany, attention.
They didn't hang around off the start. How exciting is this? The very first mixed ace race, or test race here, closing out a very exciting and brilliant day that we've had so far in day 2 at World Cup Varese. This new event of the mixed eight test race here, and all of the competitors in the boat are already racing in other boats. So it's a combination of rowers already in other competitions. Some of them would have raced once, twice, 3 times already. And now they're here competing in this 3-boat race between Italy in lane 1, USA in lane 3 and Germany in lane 4. Similar styles coming off the start. We can see high rates up all in the 40s there. Italy up at 42 strokes per minute, USA 41, Germany at a sensible 39 as they settle into their race pace here. And at the moment it is just the USA just holding on to the lead, but they're being matched stroke by stroke by the German crew. They're the 1 and 2, the Italians. Rossano, what can they do to get back in the mix?
Ed ecco per la prima volta in campo internazionale l'otto misto, quindi stiamo vedendo veramente questa novità che è stata introdotta, approvata al Congresso internazionale di Losanna nel mese di marzo e che vedrà poi disputare le gare anche al Mondiale di Shanghai a settembre, quindi 3 formazioni in gara. È curioso vedere, sarà utile anche capire quale sarà la formazione migliore. Ci sono nazioni che mettono a capovoga mettono una delle atlete, altri che preferiscono mettere i primi 4 uomini davanti e poi le 4 donne dietro. Ricordiamo che equipaggio misto, quindi metà atleti e metà atlete. È partito molto bene la formazione americana che cerca di mettersi lì davanti. La Germania chiaramente non ci sta e mantiene un contatto serratissimo. Leggermente più attardata la formazione azzurra che in questo momento è in terza posizione.
So many variables in this new category in the mixed eights race. Gone through 500 different setups we can see in the boat. The Italians going with the 4 female rowers in the bow 4 and the male rowers in a stern 4, and then a mix between USA and Germany. And as they went through 500, just to confirm again, it was USA leading out ahead of Germany, just holding on to a bit of a lead. Italy losing touch back in 3rd, and they're winging their way down to the halfway mark. And Tim and Alessandra.
Yeah, thanks, Richie. What a pleasure to see these mixed eights racing here on Lago di Varese, and a great tussle developing between the USA and Germany. And we've been studying the lineups, as you mentioned, with Germany, with Frauke Hundeling in the stroke seat, and then most of the rowers behind her are first, then the men, and 3 women in the bows. And we can see the Americans going for a slightly different approach. They put their women's pair in the stern, providing the rhythm and the feel of that boat, and behind them it's all sculling athletes filling in the ranks, and it is the USA actually having a bit of a march on the Germans now. It was a canvas, it is now stretching to a quarter, perhaps a third of a length of an advantage for the USA ahead of Germany, with Italy 3rd, clear water down.
Non vedevo l'ora di assistere a questa gara, una gara bellissima, forse considerato quasi un momento storico per il canottaggio mondiale, visto che è una gara di prova, dove si mescolano, si uniscono 4 canottiere e 4 canottieri uniscono la loro potenza, la loro tecnica, la loro velocità, la loro rapidità per raggiungere e completare 2000 metri di gara. Senza tante sorprese, devo essere sincera, abbiamo gli Stati Uniti d'America a comandare con 37 colpi al minuto questa prova di gara. Vicino c'è l'otto della Germania, che ha unito in realtà un po' di equipaggi dalla coppia e ha mantenuto però la capovoga e la numero 2 a gestire tecnicamente sia la gara che il ritmo, perché infatti capovoga e la numero 2 sono due puntiste, quindi hanno mantenuto la qualità della remata di punta. E adesso, un po' più attardata, c'è l'Italia con il 4 senza maschile che ha gareggiato stamattina, giovanissimo, seguito dalle 4 ragazze che hanno esperienza nel campo della punta. Infatti abbiamo la campionessa del mondo in 4 con, abbiamo anche che è, Giulia Orefice, e abbiamo le 2 olimpioniche Linda De Filippis e Alice Gnatta, che sono arrivate seste a Parigi, e adesso ci stiamo approcciando agli ultimi 400 metri di gara, dove troviamo ancora in testa l'America con 38 colpi al minuto e la Germania che sta cercando di attaccare l'America per vedere se riesce a superarla, e sta avendo un'ottima velocità con 39 colpi al minuto. Vediamo ora, a poche centinaia di metri dall'arrivo, come andrà la gara.
Straight to you, Richie.
Just down to the last few strokes, we're seeing Germany really take it up to the USA now in the last few strokes. They're winding up towards the line now. They're eating back into the lead that the USA have. Let's see the response from USA as they approach the finish. If we wanted an exciting test race to showcase this event, that's exactly what we've got in the run-in towards the finish. USA just by a canvas, leading out ahead of Germany. Italy back in third.
Veramente interessante il confronto che stiamo vedendo tra la formazione americana e quella tedesca, che continuano a darsi battaglia metro su metro. Adesso siamo nel corridoio delle boe rosse, quindi sprint finale. Prova la Germania il tutto per cercare di sopravanzare gli Stati Uniti, che continuano a mantenere la prua davanti, ma accelera veramente la formazione tedesca, cerca di strappare la vittoria agli Stati Uniti. Vediamo sul traguardo ravvicinatissimo, ma sembra essere la prua americana quella che taglia il traguardo in prima posizione di questo test race per la prima volta, l'otto misto.
What a race we had there between the two leading crews of USA and Germany, pushing each other all the way to the line. 6:01:30, the time there for the USA, waiting just the Italian crew coming in now to close out in third place this test race for the mixed eight. This again is one of the first times we've seen this mixed eight race event on the international circuit, certainly in the World Cup regattas. They'll be back for World Cup in Lucerne and the program for the World Championships in Shanghai as well, in the aim of bringing this into the mix for the Olympic program in Brisbane in 2023. Huge congratulations to the crew from USA, led from the start, powered to the line there, and holding off the challenge that came in. Just a canvas separating them from Germany in second, and Clearwater then back to Italy in third. The victory ceremony for the PR2 mixed double sculls. The medals will be presented by World Rowing President Jean-Christophe Rolland, accompanied by Claudio Minazzi, Varese Rowing Vice President. Winners of the gold medal, Brazil! Represented by Jessica Guerra and Miquel Gomez Pesana. Varese, give it up for your gold medalists, Brazil!
Si è acceso? Prendi me un po' dietro, Tell her we are ready. Tell them we're ready. Tell her. And we are back on the stage for the last bit of the day. It's been really hot out here. We had a lot of fun together, but now it's time to celebrate the last part of the day. We are about to live the historical moment with the mixed eight. We'll see the athletes with us. We can celebrate what they've done today. For the first time ever, we saw them racing the mixed eight. They will do the same in Lucerne and then from Shanghai. The new event that, of course, the dream is to look to the future, and looking into the future means Brisbane 2032. Surely with us, we got the final part of the day with the mixed eight.
The victory ceremony for the PR3 men's pairs. The medals will be presented by World Rowing Council member Victoria Aguera Gomez Corta, accompanied by Councillor for Sports of Varese, Stefano Malverba. Winners of the bronze medal, Great Britain, represented by Connor Smith and Joshua O'Brien. Winners of the silver medal, Italy, represented by Marco Frank and Stanislaw Litvinchuk. Winners of the gold medal, France, represented by Gregoire Biro and Laurent Cadeau. Varese, give it up for your bronze medalists, Great Britain. Your silver medalists, Italy. And your gold medalists, France.
And here we have got the gold medalist from France. Was a great race for them. We've been chatting about it. So tell me about your race and tell me how you managed to win.
I'm very happy to win with Gregoire. It's a beautiful race. I am happy rowing in Varese.
So the conditions out there, the water, how was it?
That's really good. That's a really good rowing course. But together with Laurent, he have 20 years more than me. But really good experience for me.
Great experience now, of course, you're looking into Shanghai and the World Championship. So can you tell us some secrets how you're going to prepare the World Championship?
That's a really good question. Today we have difficult to build coxed 4 in France for Shanghai. No, I don't know if I go to Shanghai, but today I have fun. It's the essential for me.
Well, of course, we want to see you moving forward, and we really hope to see you there. Thank you very much. All the best of luck. Congratulations once again to France, our gold medalist.
And now for a historical moment, please welcome the athletes that competed in the very first edition of the Mixed 8. This new and exciting event will next feature at World Cup in Lucerne and will be integrated in the World Championship program in Shanghai. We very much hope to see the Mixed 8 in the Olympic program in Brisbane in 2032. Let's hear it for our athletes! What a fantastic day we have had for day 2 here in World Cup Varese. Some amazing racing all the way through the D finals, C finals, B finals, into those exciting semi-finals lining up the racing for tomorrow. And of course, all of our medalists who've been victorious in Varese, the finals that we ran off this afternoon. So exciting, and we're back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Just a word of thanks to all the officials, volunteers and supporters for an amazing day 2 here at World Cup Varese. We kick off tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the B finals before moving into the A finals at 10:35 all the way up to 1:30, closing out with the men's 8 tomorrow for day 3 of World Cup Varese. We look forward to welcoming you back then.
Ebbene, si è conclusa anche questa splendida seconda giornata di gare qui sul lago di Varese, la Coppa del Mondo. Fantastica giornata, iniziata con le finali D, poi finali C, finali B, grandi semifinali interessanti per agguantare la finale di domani e delle splendide finali. Abbiamo visto le prime medaglie consegnate, conclusione di una splendida giornata, anche il test race di questa nuova disciplina, l'otto misto, quindi giornata spettacolare. Vi aspettiamo tutti domani alle 10 per la terza giornata di questa Coppa del Mondo qui sul lago di Varese.